Welcome to Armchair Expert. I'm Dax Shepard. I'm joined by Minical Lollipod Man.
Oh my God, you almost said lollipop.
I did. I feel like it's in there.
Oh.
I don't. You have what do they call them? Panodromes?
Palindrome.
Yeah, is that where we could reconfigure the letters in your name to make lollipop?
Palindrome is, I thought, when you read this, the word reads the same forwards and backwards.
Oh, I thought
like Hannah. Hannah's a palindrome.
What's the thing where you get a bunch of letters and you got to make some words out of it?
Scramble.
Hurdle?
Yeah, both. Okay. Today we have one of Monica's very favorites of all time.
Yes, him and I go way back to my little 4-year-old self.
That's what age you started?
Well, I don't remember.
Okay, let's say that, though. 31 years of enjoying John Stamos' work. John Stamos is an actor and a very accomplished musician, as we talk about in this.
Yes, very.
Touring with the Beach Boys for like 30 plus 40 years. Crazy. Of course, Full House, a dramatic turn in ER. That was a nice spell for him. Fuller House, incredible reboot.
Yes.
Very successful. And he has a new season of his show Big Shot on Disney Plus out now. Please enjoy John Stamos. What's his catchphrase?
Have mercy.
Okay. Is that how he delivered it?
No.
Okay. How would he?
I would never dare.
You want it?
No.
Okay. I'm going to try, having never heard it.
Okay.
Please enjoy John Stamos. Have mercy.
It's pretty good.
Wow. Okay. Okay. We'll have to compare it. Enjoy John Stamos.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
How was your workout? Was it fun? Because you had Aaron there.
That was a pop out. I thought he was landing that noon. Oh, Jennifer, do this thing. That's what don't you know. That's what you do when you have water on your clothes.
And then you get it in your eye?
But it's not on your garment.
You're right.
That was a hack, wasn't it? Do you ever do that?
Now I feel wet.
The girl who I lost my virginity to just sent me some pictures. Not.
Oh.
Oh, wait, maybe.
Oh, I love this. No, we love this.
I just
open
read
heart.
about this. The woman you lost your virginity to.
Shouldn't we save this gold for the?
Oh, we're
video?
recording.
No, we're
now.
recording. We're
always recording minus the pee part.
I
Yeah.
just took a pee in there, and I know you guys recorded it.
Yeah, we did.
We have a little a love inside the toilet tank.
Oh, cool.
We're really
so-
perverse
but
over
I-
here, which I think you know.
Can I say, Monica, you're the brains of this thing, and I'm so happy to meet you and
I'm
see you.
so happy to meet
Dax
you.
is fine. I'm glad that
Sure.
he lets you talk a little more nowadays.
Well, let's get into that.
Yeah.
Let.
What's let?
Well, I let her talk more.
Oh,
That's a
good
trigger
thing
for
I'm
him.
here.
Yeah,
Oh, wait a minute.
that's a good thing.
No.
It's a good thing I'm here.
I don't
because
let or not let Monica do anything. I don't pick her furniture.
you
Misconception. People go like,
definitely don't.
why don't you get Monica? And I'm like, first of all, Monica's rich. Second of all, Monica makes her
Is
own
Monica
fucking...
making some of this? I'm reading everywhere how much money
she
you...
owns,
Okay, good.
She owns the house across the street from us.
Well, that's good.
I got
That's
a
a
nice chunk.
signal.
Don't
But
worry.
You guys started this together, right? You created it together?
We did, but it was Dax's idea. Dax wanted to do a podcast, and I jumped in and I said, I want to help do that.
You weren't the nanny of their kids. It
Yes.
Was, theirs. I thought it was on a TV show, too.
Simultaneous. We knew her a little bit. Then she showed up on set of Kristen's old show.
Yeah.
And then she said, by the way, I also babysit. We were just about to have a second kid.
Can you let her talk?
That's a
Look at
good
him.
call.
He's pissed off at me
That
already.
is a good call. Well, this is a sore subject.
Oh, sorry. Okay, never
Well,
mind.
is it a sore subject?
Which one?
Well, here's the thing.
Are you talking about letting her talk and stuff? I'm totally kidding.
Oh, I know.
Look, I go into a
Yeah,
room
it's
and
obvious.
it's like I'm doing Rickles, and my wife says, "You're not Rickles. Stop. You're the main guy. And you're the thing." And so I kiss your ass and I
Yes.
put him down.
That's right.
It's
You
not
should.
nice.
No,
it's
you
not nice.
should.
You don't have to put him down, but I appreciate that you lift me up.
I do.
See, okay, now that is an interesting thing. We have
That's
run
better.
into that a little bit. I think there's a binary thought. We've even had people who love us both
Yes.
that when asked to comment on Monica in the press, their inclination is to do it as opposed to me. So to put me down to raise her up, as opposed to just raising her up.
You're right.
We don't have to do one or the other.
It's such familiar architecture for us, right? There's like so much muscle memory that this is how we do it. I do it too. I'm not calling anyone out.
It's a compliment to both of you. So more insulting to you, actually, Monica, because he's
Yeah.
the big shot.
Yeah.
So I remember one of the Beach Boys were talking about when Brian Wilson said, "I'm the genius and the rest of you guys are nothing." And I think it was Carl or Mike too. It's like, well, they don't have to push us down to put Brian up. We love Brian. He's our brother. He's our cousin.
Right.
So that kind of thing. All right, I'll never do that again. Sorry.
No,
No, it's a good lesson for
I never
everyone.
say anything to shame anyone. I say it to like, oh, this is great. Let's get into this.
Can I just say, I've been listening to you guys from the beginning.
Oh
can-
my
is that
gosh.
true?
Yes.
Really?
You guys are so good. And Dax, you are so fucking smart.
He
You could
is.
talk about anything. You make anybody interesting, even me today, hopefully. We don't really know each other. We saw each other at a restaurant a few years ago. Do you remember that?
I definitely remember hanging at Kimmel's a few times.
I wrote you on Instagram. Like I DM'd you after hearing your podcast, and you weren't following me. I said, I'm so, you're so fucking good. You're so smart. I'm not trying to get on your show. I just want to tell you, I don't really know you, but you're just probably the best at this. You listen, you do your research. You're just the best at this. And I wrote this long thing, and I waited like a week or so. He didn't write me back, like a scorned schoolgirl.
Oh, this is so sad.
And then I checked, and then I go, okay, fuck it, he's not going to answer me.
John-
Delete, unfollow, or whatever. And
Wait, you blocked me? Because
no, I didn't block you, but I just stopped following you because. But why would you? Like, you probably got
Hold
100
on.
DMs. I think he's crying.
No, I am bummed by this. I got to
Please.
tell you something, John. I have to interject for 1 second. I did not know until months ago that you can see people from verified accounts have sent you messages. I've made it a real point to not look at DMs for a very specific reason.
Tempted.
Well, of course, like if I get a DM from a hot woman
Right.
and she's naked,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need that challenge. I'm not going to go buy a bag of Coke and put it in my coffee table and just test how much I'm over cocaine. I avoid the DMs because I don't want to overestimate my self-control. So I've made a point to not. Now, since that decision, I do occasionally look at DMs. I just discovered that you can see who has sent you a message. By the time I discovered it, I looked at it and I got immediately overwhelmed with, oh, fuck. Can I tell you one? I hope he doesn't mind me outing him.
It's not the guy from Maroon 5, was it?
Justin Bieber.
Oh, Bieber.
Justin Bieber sent me a long DM. I don't know Justin.
Mine was nicer than his. I deleted
The point is,
We'll never see it. It's lost.
Justin Bieber sent me a message like 3 years ago. What am I gonna? I see that and I'm like, hey, sorry, it took
Hey,
me
babes.
3 years, and then I kind of got overwhelmed by it. But I'm enormously flattered you would have taken the time to write me a message that said that.
it's okay.
And
it. I can say it to you in person.
you and I have hung out several different times via Kimmel. You're a very likable person immediately. You're very humble. You're very kind. You're a great listener. You're all these things. You're like a lovely ass dude.
I appreciate that. Now, how are we doing with the boys? Dating?
Oh, wow. Well, there's been some emotional progress. Very recent about my feelings of self-worth. That is the underlying key to the whole thing.
She's starting to let in the fact that a lot of people are quite drawn to her. Still, like on the spectrum, I would like her to be a 10. She's a 3, but it was a 0 for a very long time.
Have you been in that spot? Because I have, where you feel insecure.
I have felt very insecure about how I look, but I've not been insecure about whether women would or wouldn't like me since like 6th grade. A popular girl gave me the gift of a lifetime, Sasha Crossett. She was in 8th grade. She liked me, and it changed my life. For some people, it was sports. That's where all their self-esteem came from.
Right,
For some people, it was fighting, or it was, we all find our things. You were a musician. Mine was, I can talk to girls and I can dance. This is my thing.
That's right.
And that's what I'm good at. And that's the whole foundation for
Were
my
you funny?
self-esteem.
Was that it? You were funny?
I was funny and outrageous.
It's deeper than that, though, because it's not just, oh, somebody likes me. It's you get to see in somebody what there is to like. They will comment like, oh, you're so this or you're so that. And you're like, no, oh, maybe. It shines a light on the things you aren't paying attention to in yourself if you allow that to happen.
What's that term? It's like the light is shining. Get in it. Scoot over and get in it.
Get in
Oh.
the find your light. That's very
Not find your light.
actory.
No. You say that. The light is there, shining. Get
Yeah.
your ass in it.
Yes,
Ah.
that's good.
It's right there.
When
I
we
like
did Monica
that.
and Jess, there was a lot of turn your light on. Your open for business light
That's
is off.
Right.
And you need to turn that
And
on.
people may think you're in a relationship or you're not.
yeah, you're not interested.
I think there
Anyways.
was a certain self-protection
Yes.
Well,
over
Oh,
the
big
years
time.
that basically said, I'm not in the market, so you can't reject me. This was my
Exact-
approach
oh,
with
for
being punk
sure.
rock. So I've been saying this since we've become best friends. You have to be open to the flirting or it doesn't happen. And she hates when I do this, but
Right.
I feel so good about doing it right now.
Let's do it.
Monica's
Got clothes on?
objectively fucking beautiful, right?
Beautiful. Prettier than I thought, even in person.
Yes.
And you have a glowy thing about you.
X Factor,
The second I
right?
saw her there, I was like, oh.
That's really nice. Well, I did get micro needling this weekend, so
Well, it worked.
that's the
You
glow.
You must be young too.
35.
No shit. And you're super smart too. You know, there's something you said on here a while ago. It doesn't really pertain to what we're talking about, but I think it was to Amy Poehler or somebody. Well, you were talking about that we have no control, and the pandemic showed us we never had control.
Yeah.
I've used that line a lot. I haven't given you credit many times.
You don't
but if
have
hear it,
to.
this
The
is where I
fact
got
that
it.
you're using it, wow.
This is open source code. Like anything you hear here, you can
that's
claim
right.
it's yours.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. Oh, that's so flattering.
But I think you're going to be just fine. And you have to be open. You know, if you don't take a risk, and you take risks all the time, you've taken them in your career, you've taken them on your motor things you do.
Sexually.
yeah.
Sexually, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of risks.
I mean, I was
sexually.
there. I used to be like that. Before I sobered up and before I went through a decent amount of therapy, I was afraid to put myself out there. And so what I would do is I'd give 60%. And my 60% was
Yeah.
better than almost anybody out there. So I was like,
Yeah.
that's fine. I was afraid to give 100% because if I did and I failed, I was like, oh shit, I gave 100%.
Rejection.
Now, really quick, would that be because you would have gotten caught trying? And when you fail after trying, it's somehow embarrassing. But if you kind of phone it in,
Yeah. And you know, when I met my wife now, I said, I'm going to put 100% into this thing. And if it doesn't work, fine. Then I know how to put 100%. I know that
Yeah.
road.
you have to practice at some point.
Yes, it's a lot. Being in the moment is exhausting, but that's what it's all about now, right?
Well, we just had this great professor on about the many flaws of thinking that we all innately have. And one of them was fallacy of fluency.
Fluency effect.
Oh, yes.
Fluency fallacy is incredible because exactly what you're saying. You think the moment you understand it, let's say you're in therapy, you're like, oh, I see what I didn't do in my past relationships. I didn't give 100% of my effort. And then you think, so next time I'll do it this way, and then I will know how to do it because I understand it. And so I will be able to turn this switch and I'm going to be this different version of myself. But that's a fallacy. One has to practice at giving 100% of themselves. It's not just a decision, I'm going to do it. You're going to have to practice.
Yes, that's exactly it. And it may take time, but in that case, it was like, well, it worked. Then you got to keep giving.
It's like working out. There's no magic set.
I did a bunch of talk shows last week. I'm talking about being in the moment. You know, I lost my friend Bob, and so it was like tomorrow's never promised, and all we have is right now. As actors, I'll be in the moment. Be in this moment. Fuck off. Like you hate hearing that,
Yes.
but it's real. It is true. All we have is right now.
I know.
I was saying all that last week, and then I come home and I'm not,
Oh, yeah,
practicing
yeah.
any of it.
Of course.
But so you have to keep reminding
As long
yourself.
as you're reminding yourself, you can't
Right.
do it 24/7. And no one can do that unless you're like Buddha, I guess. Wait, we have to get back to virginity person.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, John. You wanted to add one more thing about Monica, and
She's
I
great.
want to encourage it. Yeah.
I went to India about 8 years ago. I know your parents are from there,
Really?
right?
Yes.
I still have a touch of diarrhea, but I'm okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a fear.
It's kept you looking very svelte. Yeah.
It was one of the most, like they said, life-changing trips. The people were so beautiful and so sweet. You know, the Beach Boys, when I started hanging around them in the early 80s, they were very much into TM and Maharishi.
Yeah.
And they went to Rishikesh to study with the Beatles. Mia Farrow was there and
Wow.
Donovan. And
Nora
it was in
Jones's father.
Rishikesh. Nora Jones' father, that's right. That's where they learned to meditate. And
Wow.
So I went to try to find that.
Amazing.
Do you do TM?
I don't do it enough.
We both do it because Howard is a proponent of it. That's why I started it.
No, I was doing it before because of the Beach Boys.
Oh, right.
Because he didn't really talk about it, I don't think, the first couple of years. I was just driving over here listening, and he was talking about my new show, and it was like, he's such a good guy. I mean, I guess
He
people know that.
is.
You guys know that.
A lot of people think he's mean.
Yeah.
The story I tell in here, which is funny, is I did his show, right? We happened to get along pretty well. And then he told Kimmel, I really like that kid. Bring him around. And so he was in town in LA. And I said to Kristen, I think we're going to get to go to his house in Long Island. And she said, I'm not going to Howard Stern's house. The dude who throws bologna at women's asses. That was literally the comment. I go, well, let's go to dinner with he and Kimmel. Within 9 minutes at this dinner, Kristen's like target locked on him. She's in love with him. We go. We're supposed to go again. I can't go because my father's sick. She goes, okay, well, good luck with your dad. And she went without me. She's been without me.
Yeah.
So that's really the truth about him.
He's one of the greatest. Like when Bob died, he called me. We talked for an hour. He called me when my new show was airing. Him and Beth watched it. And Beth was a high school basketball player and just went on about the show. Like then he texted me and said, hey, it's Howard. Pick up the phone. I said, oh shit, Ralph died. He never calls me. Howard.
Right. I got a lot of questions about Ralph, but
Okay.
in order. But let's start in Orange County. We're in Cypress, Orange County. This is of great fascination to me right out of the gates because you're super Greek. And what are the odds you land in a town called Cyprus?
Oh, yeah.
It's an accident, though, that your dad
I think so,
lands.
yeah.
Where's
Yeah,
he from?
My dad was born here and he passed away, but my grandfather was from Greece. Did you ever do one of those shows where they trace your ancestry?
Well, we've done 23andMe, but not the show.
No.
I have family from Kentucky. I don't need to learn on TV. My family was slave owners. Let's just assume they were. I got family from Kentucky.
There's a lot of bad stuff
That's how
out there.
it was. I kept waiting for that moment where you're supposed to cry. It's like, is this it? It's like a joke. Someone's telling a joke. It's like, this is when I get it. Okay. Oh, my great-grandfather got shot in the town.
Yeah. Did you find out anything interesting?
Yeah, I did.
What was the
Well, I went to this
headline?
little town where my grandfather was from. My family, Stamatopoulos and the Koliopoulos family, were like the Hatfields and McCoys.
Oh.
And my great-grandfather got shot in this town square, and one of the cousins were walking us around. I said, well, so the Koliopoulos, shh, the Koliopoulos, they're over there.
Oh, still?
wow.
Oh, my God. Okay.
So you grew up in
Armchair-
Detroit?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever go to Pine Knob? I played there a lot. With the
Oh
Beach Boys.
my God, yes. My very first concert, Heart with John Cougar Mellencamp, opening for Heart, like about a month after Jack and Diane came out. So really the bill should have been flipped at that point, but it hadn't. I got hit in the head with a 50-gallon Coleman cooler on that first trip. Someone slid down the hill because it's a grassy hill, as you know. It's a ski. It's, in the winter, it's a ski hill, Monica. And in the summer, it's a big, muddy, slippery, grassy hill that drunk people listen to music on.
Yeah.
Sounds like a disaster.
Next was Stevie Nicks.
Oh,
At the height of Stevie Nicks, my mother's like soul sister. But I've seen everyone. I saw Metallica and the Cult there.
Beach Boys, I was there.
I didn't see the Beach Boys.
They went on tour with America there.
I think like maybe many people of my age, I didn't learn that the Beach Boys were geniuses until I learned of the Beatles Beach Boys rivalry. For me, it was like my mom even raised us. We're not Beatles people. We're Rolling Stones people. Beatles were singing, I Want to Hold Your Hand. Mick Jagger was saying, because I got another girl pregnant. That's our music.
guys were
We're
rebels.
freaky.
You talk about your dad a lot. Did he pass away?
Yeah, 62. 10 years ago this year. Yeah.
Mine must have been about 20 years. But you had a different relationship. My dad was my hero.
He's becoming mine.
Oh, cool.
Posthumously.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And I can tell you something really cheesy. I love crows, right?
You do?
Yeah. So I have this big crow on my forearm.
he identifies as a crow.
This is who I think I am. And my dad was obsessed with hawks. So now the hawk is landing on the branch that the crow's on. I'm inviting him now to sit on the branch with me. So I'm learning to love him even more.
That's so cool.
And I'm recognizing that I had stories about him as I have stories about everyone.
That's beautiful.
I think he was a lovely guy that wasn't ready to raise kids, and he was an addict like I am. And there's a lot of things probably he would have done differently. But back to your father. Okay.
Yeah, let's
I'm
see what
interested
you
in you
did
guys.
there.
I mean, you know,
I know. You said it all.
that's how I.
But I have to break myself of stealing all of his catchphrases because they're in my head.
When was the last time you were on a show?
You're tricking me again. I had a solo appearance. It was great. He invited me to his house. Then I went back with Bradley Cooper, a dual interview, because Bradley was in my movie, and Bradley would only do Howard if I was there with him because he knew Howard was just going to ask him about who he had sex with, and he didn't really want to do it. So I was there to kind of run Blocker.
Did you?
I did. And it's a thankless job. The listeners were annoyed, and it was regrettable. And that was the last time I've been on the show.
How long ago was that?
10 years ago. The same year my father died. Ding, ding, ding.
Big year.
I brought Rickles in. Did you ever hear that episode? 'Cause
No.
Howard loved Don, and Don.
He went
same
go
thing. It
solo?
was like your wife was like, oh, all he talks about is spanking girls in the ass.
That's why I love Don Rickles. It thinks he's too crass.
Seriously.
Well, Don was his main influence and inspiration of becoming, a comedian or getting into show business. And to watch Howard and Don together was so special. And Howard stood up, took his glasses off, Mr. Rickles, and they connected on not getting girls in school, but having to be funny to get through life.
To get to talk to some
it
of
was
them.
great.
Yeah.
Real quick, because you were talking about Kimmel. It's funny because I think Kimmel in some ways mirrors that too, where he had a period of time where it was like, Jimmy
The Man
Kimmel's
Show.
crazy. Exactly. And he's kind of, the word misogynistic is too strong, but you'd place him in maybe more of that category.
Sure.
And now he's the most lovable person. He's family guy.
Not to the
Everyone
Champion
loves
Republicans, he's not.
Oh, God. Don't get me started
It's so
on
scary
that.
to take a stance. Like, we were all over the place. Go ahead, do the.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we are. But this is what we do. We
Okay, good,
jump.
good, good.
yeah.
Well, you
it's
know how you guys are
kaleidoscopic.
so successful, huh? You've done 500 shows,
Yeah.
and it's taken you that many shows to get around to me, huh?
No, we've,
okay.
you know what?
You know what? It's okay. I'm having a moment.
I'm sure
might as well
I
just-
reached out day 1 or 2.
I think it would go without saying Monica thinks you're the hottest guy on the planet.
Oh,
that's
duh.
assumed, I'm sure, but you need to know she is a product of Full House.
I brought you something.
It's in my pants.
No.
Yeah. Move that wall out and move the furniture. I'll show you.
It's gonna get wild.
I'll have to.
We'll bring in
get
the
the
T-Rex
wrestling-
skull.
Get the wrestling mats out.
Well, you say that about everybody who comes in here.
No, I
No.
don't. I have a high bar.
You
I
sure do.
definitely don't say that about everybody. But I did grow up on Full House. I am of Mary Kate and Ashley age. We're the same age. So I grew up watching. To my generation, you've been on our walls since, age 5. How does that
Right.
make you feel when I
To
say
be on
that?
a wall,
All of that.
it just hits you. When did 30 years go by? Like,
Here's what I would think if I were you, because I don't really get this. Occasionally, I run into people that were like, "Oh my God, my 12th birthday we saw without a paddle." Like, I get that, right? But I'm never talking to a hot, full-blown woman, as you said, with a glow,
Yeah.
who's like, "I loved you since I was a baby," and now they're like fully formed sexual
Woman.
creature,
Yeah.
and I've got to now like kind of compute all that.
they always said, like, I used to like you. I used to have a crush on you. I used to have you on your wall.
You find the brown lining in everything,
I
like
don't-
I do,
not
right?
everything.
Like, but if I give you a compliment, you figure out the way.
If you don't take the compliment and say thank you, it hurts the other person a little bit.
That's certainly true
Yes.
because you're telling Monica how she feels about you, which is she just told you how she feels about you. She was hot for you as a baby, and now she's hot for you as a full blown woman.
Oh, good.
I would imagine, yes, in your mind, you hear used to or past tense.
No, I use it as a defense. I use it to
Okay.
be
Of
humble.
course.
What am I supposed to say? I know I'm hot.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Well,
I get
think
it.
There would be a
Hollywood.
way for us to do that. And maybe in therapy, you and I are working towards the same thing. I got a hunch we are.
I'll bet.
So we're both addicts. I didn't know that about you till today, by the way.
Oh, really?
There's a great saying in the program, an egomaniac with an inferiority complex, or the piece of shit that the world revolves around. So I have this double-sided coin self-image. I'm either the biggest piece of shit on the planet, or I might be a god.
Right.
And so in
there-
therapy, I'm working towards to get in the middle of it, to be able to own the things that are true about me, because I at the same time feel entitled to things and fraudulent. I have imposter syndrome.
But do you really? You're so fucking smart. I mean, the success of this show alone and projects you've done, people are saying, here, direct this movie. You have to know that, right? A little bit.
It's helpful to have the proof and the data, but then there's the kid you always are that is 5 years younger than your brother and dyslexic and all these things. That's hard to shake.
You look better in person too, by the way.
Okay, I hear this sometimes in real life.
Well, he has an aura.
If you had to pick, you're hotter on screen or you're hotter in real life, what would you pick? Because one is a source of income. You're either hotter in real life or you're
Screen,
hotter on screen.
right?
You would pick hotter on screen?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
Would you?
I'd pick hotter in real life.
But you already got the hottest girl. Like, what do you care?
yeah.
You can't look at your DMs.
I'm
You
in
got
real
your-
life all the
What's the
time.
po-
I'm only in real life, so I'm not in the movie I'm in. So if I have to pick where I look hot, I'd rather look hot in real life because that's where I'm at.
Well, thank God we don't have to choose that. It's a silly hypothetical
But
horseshit.
you deliver in real life.
I'm doing this
Yeah.
new project. I'm going there right now to do where I'm playing this kind of fucked up rock star guy, and I'm excited about it.
I
It's
like
different,
you with the longer hair. As I was watching clips of you today, and I was watching you on ER.
Full.
I love the ER hair. It was shaggy and messy. Who's this guy? He's smart enough to be a doctor, but his hair's messy. Mixed messages. I love it.
Do you have a moment where there's like, okay, now I'm maybe taking it serious?
Sure.
But it all depends what you're in too, right? Like,
1,000%.
I was listening to James Franco, and he did a soap opera, General Hospital, where I started.
Yes.
And he talked about, I'm a good actor, which he was, but in that environment, I didn't come off as a good actor because the way they light it, all the makeup we have to wear, the dialogue we have to play, the shitty music, it made me a terrible actor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just saying that those actors are very good on those shows, and also it just depends on where you're at, right? So you get thrown into Parenthood. I got thrown into ER, I think, and that's where people go, oh,
This was Burt Reynolds' huge grievance.
I loved him.
There's a regrettable moment in his career, and it's at that peak of it, right? He's been the biggest box office star for 7 out of the previous 10 years. During Smoking the Bandit 2, he's in a Playboy interview, and he's very upset that he's never been nominated for anything. And his point, which is objectively true, is he's like, Dustin Hoffman has these incredible scripts with these artful directors. I'm in Smoking the Bandit. I take a 30-page outline, and I make the second biggest movie of the year. Isn't that worth something? And it's true. For Burt Reynolds to transcend a 30-page outline and make the second biggest movie of the year, you got to recognize that as a huge power.
But what happened to Boogie Nights? That was his shot.
I know the inside scoop on Boogie Nights. You hear Boogie Nights, he gets nominated because he's in a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. You find out they didn't get along. My assumption was Paul's in the right. Bert's in the wrong. Something about his ego, maybe. That was my assumption. Now, what Bert told me was they're doing that famous shot or they're coming off the street into the back of the restaurant. They're going through the whole restaurant and they're going to land on Bert at the table, if you can remember that shot in Boogie Nights. And then Bert says some stuff. There's all these young actors. He is an actor's actor. Like, he loves actors. He takes everyone under his wing. He's watching all these people do these great performances and everyone's hitting their mark and it's on time. Now, this is Bert's account. Paul, don't be mad at me. They do it like 5 or 6 times. And from Bert's perspective, it's perfect. Why are we going again? He finally walks outside. He looks at the video village and he sees a number taped to the monitor. And he asks the script supervisor, what's that number? And she says, oh, that's the current record for a Steadicam shot in a movie.
He was trying to beat.
And he said, are you fucking kidding me? We're not here to break a Steadicam record. We're here to be as honest and as good as we can be and hit our marks. And if you're putting us through this ringer so that you can have a Steadicam record, fuck off.
Yeah.
That was Bert's perspective. I don't know if that's the truth. If that were the truth, I can understand why they didn't get along.
It's his movie.
Whose movie?
Paul Thomas Anderson's movie. He should be able to do that.
Look, I can make an argument for both people.
Do you really think that Paul would do that?
He's young. He's obsessed with Scorsese. I wouldn't fault Paul even if he had that motivation to make his mark in the way that Scorsese did or these other people.
Did Bert hurt himself once he got nominated? Then he was shitting all over.
He was shitting on Paul.
Yeah, that's
he
bad.
mishandled, just like he did. I'm telling you, this Playboy interview.
Where he was nude
no
on
one
the-
wants
was it
to
the-
hear Burt Reynolds complain that he's not getting awards when he's the highest paid actor in the world and his life is pretty fucking great. So I'm telling you, it was hubris. It was a mistake and it was stupid. But the point is accurate. To be great in something terrible is a much bigger feat than being passable in something great.
Well, Full House.
Full House. But
It was good, though.
okay, my favorite thing in researching you today, you said it a couple different places. You wanted to be famous. I love it.
I always say afterwards, I said, but eventually I learned to love the art of it. I have no problem being famous. I like it. It's great.
Yes. And
Oh,
I love it.
Refreshing. No
It
one
really
says that.
is.
Are you?
I can admit 2 things. Yes, I wanted to be famous. That doesn't mean I enjoyed it. Me being stared at restaurants makes me uncomfortable. I think dudes want to fight me.
Still?
No, this is back to the therapy thing I'm working on, and maybe you are too.
What?
Is believing that I belong here, that I can take the compliment and I can say thank you. When you tell me I'm smart, I don't have to say to you, knee jerk, as I always do, no, I was dyslexic, so I have a great memory. As I've learned to let go, thank you, I find that I am less bothered by people giving me attention because I actually feel more worthy of it.
Got it. Both you guys.
It's a similar thing.
How old are you?
47.
I probably felt how you did at your age. And then the last 10 years, I'm like, fuck it. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I wasn't very academical and I didn't go to college. I didn't read as much as later I did. And I had a long-term relationship that basically said, I don't want to be with you anymore because you're stupid. My friends think you're stupid. And I was like, oh, okay, great.
Oh my God, wait, that
That's
was really said
horrible.
to you.
Yeah. And sobriety had a lot to do with it. It's been about 7 years. But just being
Congratulations.
clear and being like, fuck, I don't care. I could walk into any room with any celebrity, any movie star, anything and go, hey, babe, what's up? You're getting to that too, right?
Yeah.
You also had a little bit of a handicap, which is your wife.
Her outshining me fame-wise has never bothered me. Her making more money than me was hard for me.
Did you rip your prenup in half? What happened?
Well, what's really funny, I wanted a prenup when we got married. Like, if I'm being honest with you, because I had a lot of my savings account and I own my house. She was underwater in a house. And I was like,
Right.
You're like, she doesn't know how to handle money.
I was just like, if we break up in a week, she's taking half of it. She doesn't have anything for me to take. I wanted one. She even said to me, honey, I bet you'd feel more comfortable if we got a prenup, and I'm happy to do one. And the best part of me said, absolutely not. So we did not get one. And my joke was, joke's on you, Toots. When Frozen came around, thank God we don't have a prenup. That was always the joke.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So you've learned to deal with that part of it even too. The money, who cares? It's half yours now anyway.
It's ha-
And
yeah.
you got kids. Do you think with all the money you guys make, you could get a good
No,
better couch?
he's
Because
trying
I'm sitting
to-
on this couch and it's like there's a weird lump in it. I'm okay.
I
but I'm not
told
super
Monica
comfortable,
this. We
but
fought
there's
about
like
this.
a weird dip in it.
We fought about this last week. I want
Listen,
I'm reading everyone.
we
Nine,
can't
nine, nine,
mess
nine.
with
so much.
what's
Hey,
good.
Listen, should we try another cushion?
We could
No,
put
it's
another
fine.
cushion.
Being an asshole. But there's a weird dip, ladies and gentlemen.
But don't you think it's part of the charm? Like,
Yes.
the reason there's a dip is because so many people have said
I know
500.
500 people
Prince
before.
Harry.
Yeah. So I was freshly divorced. There was some award show or party or after party or something, and my press agent Louis K says, there's this girl that wants to meet you. You got to meet her. She's into theater. She's fine. The two of you guys would be great together. It was Kristen.
Oh, no kidding.
And I said, she's so adorable. She's so great. I'm way the fuck too old.
Wow.
I don't know if she remembers that.
How
but,
crazy.
Wow.
Oh
Yes,
my
that would have
God.
been a
Close
great.
call.
Yes, she
I
loved.
just was so lofty and thought, I'm old. I don't know how old she is. But
She's 5 years younger than me, so she'd be 17 years younger than
Whatever
you.
it is,
So
right?
that would be less than your current gap.
But this is the thing you're hung up on.
right.
But this is part of your thing. Oh, she probably liked me when she was 5, so she can't. Like,
No,
I can't.
I didn't.
You were just like the age gap's gross. It's not a good look.
I think I was, yeah. But then I got
Yeah.
over that.
Yeah, as you got older.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
Okay, let's go back to fame. I think the thing you're explaining, Full House, originally you're like, I kind of wanted to be on something else.
Yeah,
I wanted to
sure.
get hugely famous from something else.
Yes.
What would you have wanted to be famous for?
Well, I think by that time I'd been famous. General Hospital was a whole thing.
Got nominated for a Daytime Emmy.
There you go.
Yeah.
It was, and that was like, you were talking about the first girl who said she liked you. And I remember mine was in high school. We were at this block party. Someone at this party said, oh, I heard this girl who was the hottest girl. She was a Catholic school girl. Thinks you're cute and wants to go out with you. I'm like, oh, wow. I was like,
What a message.
what? Then I just told everybody at this party.
Sure,
And so it got
Rookie
to the next
mistake.
house, got to the next house, got to the next house where her boyfriend was.
Okay.
Who was a big sort of football player, whatever. I was in this car in the passenger seat talking to some other friends. And the guy comes up and knocks on the window. Says, oh, hey, man. Roll down the window. Okay.
He
Clocks me right in the eye. I was always afraid of being hit. And then I was like, oh, that didn't hurt that much. But then the next one did. And then he tried to drag me out of the car. And I was like,
Oh.
step on it. But I woke up with this horrific black eye. And I was so humiliated and demoralized. It was terrible. And it just went on. And I was afraid at school all the time. He kept writing a big nose on the mirror.
He wanted to do it again and again.
Yeah, he wanted to do it again. And I said, I can't take this anymore. I got to do something. I got to get famous so I can have bodyguards and beat his ass.
Wow.
And every little milestone that I got onto, I go, that motherfucker. Yeah, I'm playing with the Beach Boys. Invite him backstage. Have the bodyguards beat him up.
Do you know his full name?
I
don't
know
say
all of it.
You
I
do? Have
I'm
you
writing
seen
a
him?
book, which I never thought I would do, and I'm sort of just writing about that now. But I was going to go visit him at the gas station where he was cleaning toilets and say, hey, thanks. I'm not there. So I wanted to be famous. I used to have my friend Mike Owen at Disneyland come up and ask for my autograph, and I'd sign it. And then people, who's that? Oh, he's the kid on.
Really quick, because you said that really quick. Did you understand what he just said? He'd go
Yes,
with his buddy.
he arranged for a-
his buddy would act like a fan.
I love that.
Yes.
So I got fame and General Hospital. I always said this to you. All right, just Monday, call back on Tuesday, shot it Wednesday, and it aired 2 weeks later. Writing this book, I'm going through all my mom's calendars. And that's exactly what happened. It was a couple auditions. I shot the show. And then 2 weeks later, 30 million people saw it. And I was
Wow.
still working at my dad's restaurant. The audition thing, too, was funny. It was to play a New York street kid. I'd never been in New York.
Rough and tumble.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Rough
yeah.
and tumble.
Kid from Cyprus.
Yeah, Cypress, California, by Knott's Berry Farm.
In the
Deer
shadow
Park.
of Knott's
Yeah.
Berry,
And
Not scary
It's
farm.
not Scary Farm. I love Travolta. I can't remember how old I was, but I went to the set of Grease. My father's friend was teaching at the school, and they were doing the big scene with the crepe paper. And I walked in there, I was like, wow. And they were rolling. The doors fly open, and Travolta comes out in that black suit and that pink shirt. I go, I want to be that guy. I want to do
Yes. You also loved Elvis, and there's a weird correlation between, I think, Travolta and
Travolta,
Elvis.
yeah, maybe.
All the dancing,
Yeah,
the
that's right, too.
flamboyance,
Right.
yet the masculinity and the size, all of it.
Maybe, yeah.
Mixed messies.
So I went to Saturday Night Fever to see what it was like in New York. You know, that walk. So I got to get a walk. First, I borrowed my mom's leather jacket, which was a long
Woman's.
woman's leather. Mom, can I cut this? No. And my hair was sort of feathered, you know. And I was like, I got to figure out a walk before their audition. So I drove up to Hollywood, my dad's El Camino. And I was like, this looks like New York to me. It was Santa Monica Boulevard, which is mainly a boys' town.
Sure.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought, this is New York.
Yeah.
I parked in a place called Rage. I thought, well, this is good because this character probably has rage in him.
Oh my God.
And I get out of the car and I'm like, sashaying
Strutting.
up and down the thing and woo, kitty girl. I'm like, kitty girl, okay, great, you know. And I was like, I need some Chachi. Chachi was from New York. I need a bandana to tie around my thigh.
Oh,
So I go into there's a lot of bandanas sold in there. And I said, oh, I'll take that one. And I'll never forget this guy said, oh, you're in luck. I said, why? well, with every bandana, you get a free back massage. I'm like,
No.
well, I got an audition right now, but maybe I'll come back later. I don't know, back massage would be good.
Do you know the bandana culture?
Well, this is what I'm getting to.
Oh, okay.
So I walk into the audition with the walk. I got my walk. They go, stop moving around. What are you doing? Just stay still. You don't need to walk. It's a small room. So I started again, and the guy says, you know what that bandana means? Is it chachi? I was like, no, it's yellow.
Joni loves chachi.
No, it means that you like to be peed on. I'm like, what? Because it was yellow. That's right. It's the culture. Is that the card for the culture?
No. These are my nicotine
What if
toothpicks.
that was your cheat sheet?
I thought that was.
Right. Oh, red. And then I look at the back.
Dax, you know more about it?
Well, yeah, guys that cruised in West Hollywood back then would have different color bandanas, and it basically signaled whether they were a bottom or a power bottom, or they like this or that. It was like you could signal
Urinated on his pee.
Waterworks or something they call it, water play. It was an early version of water play.
Yeah.
Was the yellow bandana.
Wow.
So that was that. But anyway, I was on General Hospital for 2 years only. Still lived in Cyprus with my parents. I was still working at my dad's restaurant for a while on Sundays because he thought that would be good. I said, Dad, I'm famous.
Yeah.
Did your dad see your success?
He did, yeah.
Did he try to keep you humble? I was like, nah.
Fuck no. He was like, we're famous.
Oh, really?
We're famous.
That's cool too, though.
Oh, he enjoyed it more
Did
than I ever did, yeah.
Signing autographs.
Oh.
I'm Dax's father.
I called him at one point. He answered the phone. Oh, good. Tell this woman who you are. I'm like, what? And then I hear, hello? Yeah? Who is this? Dax. You're Dax Shepard? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then the phone. I told this one. I'm your dad. I go, what's happening?
Oh my God.
He was at Costco in a fight with a woman at the register, whether or not he was my dad. When I called him, I go, Dad, how often are you fighting strangers? So yeah, he loved it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Now I think I could like it more. Back then I was like, you don't deserve, you didn't earn. That was my
Did he see you on
take.
Parenthood then?
You saw me on Parenthood. The most important thing is I had directed Hit and Run, and it was the last year he was alive. It came out the last 3 months he was alive, and I bet he took like 7 or 8 different women to see it, to like show off. Now I'm like, God bless you.
He used you to get laid.
Yes,
I like
yes.
that in a father.
And I was
That's a
like,
good one.
good for you. This is cool.
Yeah. My dad used to wake me up. I'd be like weekends, like so tired from working. And say, get up. What? Some kids at the door. They want your autograph. You want to be famous? There you go. I wanted to be funny. I wanted to be on a sitcom.
Yeah.
And so my 2-year contract, they tried to extend it once I became popular on there. And I said, no, I want to leave. But I'd go on the weekends, do these car shows. Detroit, I did the Auto Ram or whatever that was.
Oh, yeah, as like a model.
Well, no, I wasn't Daisy Duke, but I was a celebrity.
A host.
No, you send autographs from General Hospital.
Wow.
I was on TV.
At the auto show.
Yes. And then, I'd come home with $10,000.
Yeah.
And my dad would say, here's the pooper scooper. Go clean up the shit in the backyard. I don't care,
Yeah.
The one thing that fascinates me greatly about daytime soap operas is you guys film an entire episode a day, right?
Yeah.
So how did you go from almost no experience to memorizing what I would imagine is like 14 minutes of
I had
dialogue?
20, 30 pages a day. Sometimes.
Yeah. Were you not completely overwhelmed? Especially you're not academic, you said. How did you get through that part of it? Are there cue cards?
I ate up every ounce of it. I stayed up all night if I had to study. But, your mind isn't that cluttered at 18. I was just barely 18, barely not a virgin.
Okay.
So, I loved it. They used to say, go home. They would call me the sponge. I would just watch, and Demi Moore was on there, and Tony Gear. It was Luke and Laura. And there's an incredible woman who I really want to do something about, Gloria Monty, who came in and changed the face of daytime adding. Elizabeth Taylor was on there during that time.
Whoa.
Sammy Davis Jr.
You have an affinity for the Rat Packy era of glimmer and glamour.
I did. And sadly, I met a lot of them until Rickles. I didn't realize, oh my God, they're coolest guys. Sammy was on General Hospital, and I said, Dad, who's Sammy Davis Jr.? He said, what? Played me his record, and then I said, what do I talk to him? I said, talk to him about drums. And I wanted to play drums on the show, but they wouldn't let me.
Right.
They weren't listening.
Yeah.
So he was on, and I said, Mr. Davis Jr., I want to play drums on here. And there's a full setup because he was singing a song, and I was hosting this waterfront charity thing. And he said, okay, man. And he walks away to the producer's booth and comes back. There's a little clicking. And he says, all right, man, just do what I say, man. I do impressions just for your next movie.
I know. I'm learning that, and I'm excited.
This is an audition.
Yeah, that's all I do with Sammy. So I introduced him as the character Blackie, which he thought was a weird name for my character.
Yeah, that's kind of rough.
Blackie, man. He does his thing. He says, Blackie, you play drums, right? Completely had the, yeah. And she said, come up here, And he was playing piano. I had a guy off camera playing piano for him. Let's play some jazz. I want ding, 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 and it's on YouTube. And it changed my life. And it was so beautiful. And I played
love
music
that.
on television ever since.
Oh my God, what a gift.
What a gift.
I also want to paint some context. Our average age listener grew up outside of the era of daytime television,
Right,
the soap
yes.
opera. To your point, 30 million people. The biggest show on television right now is getting about 7 million viewers. Euphoria is the second biggest show to ever exist on HBO with 20 million viewers. So 30 million viewers. 1 in 10 Americans at that point were watching you. I don't know if people understand how enormous those stars were.
And you're coming into their homes too. Television versus movies. People feel like they know they want to touch you.
You're in their living
You're
room
in their
versus
living
they
room.
left to go somewhere and see you.
Exactly. In movies, you're so big. I wouldn't know because you haven't put me in any of your movies, but you're so big in the
Yeah,
theater.
you've heard.
Television
Yeah.
is the thing. So
You get smaller.
Yeah, I've heard, yeah. And also, people would knock down movie stars to get to us, but it didn't mean anything in the business. It was very difficult to get out of that golden handcuff.
And so what's interesting about humans, and it's completely predictable, and no one can avoid it, is you wanted to be famous, and you're basically apex famous, but then immediately the mind goes, well, no, I would like to be famous, plus I'd like some cachet.
Respected.
Sure.
Right? I want to be respected.
That's when I realized that I really did like acting. I want to learn more about it.
That never ends. You're holding an Academy Award.
Right.
And then it's some voice in your head is like, but do they think I'm Brando?
right.
Whatever the thing is, right? You're like, well, I guess I need 6 of these. That's the human condition. There is no there. There's just right now. I got to touch down really quick on Never Too Young to Die, the movie you were in,
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
following General Hospital. So you did this movie with Gene Simmons
Right.
from Kiss
This
the
is
Long
such
Ton.
a terrible, terrible, terrible movie that it's genius. It's like Rocky Horror Picture. I tried to buy it a while ago with Gene just to show it on Friday nights because it's the most ridiculous. And Vanity was in it, and she was beautiful. We did the cast dinner before we started shooting. It was at La Dome. Again, I was like 19, like 20 maybe. And she was giving me a hand job underneath the table. I go, this is going to be good. It's going to be a great movie.
Not expecting that to be the end of the sentence. I love that.
She passed away, but she was, well, not then. I mean, it wasn't that.
You lucky
Mind
son of a
blowing.
bitch. You
I
went
have
from like
so
no
many-
one liked you to like almost a senior and finally a popular girl likes you to getting a hand job from Vanity. God bless you,
That should
John.
be
What a
that should be
great
the title of the book, right?
yes, a clandestine hand job. You got to dress it up a little bit.
I have so many of those stories that I can't tell.
Oh,
my
please
God!
tell.
Why?
This is
why?
the spot.
Why can't you tell? Oh, we got to explore this, and then I got to go back to Gene Simmons. But I was watching you on The View, right? Those 4 women are never unified on anything. They can't take a bite of a piece of cake and say it was all good. And all 4 of them were like very titillated that you were there. It's like it was a palpable energy. And I was trying to break down your appeal. Here's my assessment of your appeal. And I hope you see this as a compliment. You're PG-13 hot. Women feel very safe around you. And I think the safety that you exude would prompt women to make the first move. You have this edgy, but it's wholesome and safe. I bet women have been way more forward with you than your average duck. I think things like that have happened to you a lot. Have women felt safe to just get a hold of your dick under a table?
We're not talking about Lori Loughlin here. We're talking
Right.
about
Yeah.
Vanity. Oh, which we should talk about her too.
I love her.
I know you do. And you just came out yesterday. You said some really nice stuff about her. We talked last night about you.
Oh,
that's
that
nice.
made
It was
some
something
kind
you
of...
were saying, like, I hate it when people bring her up because if I
I
don't,
like her.
It was on this show. We talked
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you
I'm-
defend her and people get mad. If you don't defend her, you
Yeah.
feel bad because she's a great
I
person.
can just tell you what it was like to work with her. I found
Yeah.
her to be so fucking lovely. Look, she got her kids into school illegally. I don't agree with it.
Nope.
But I fucking tried to rob 7-Eleven. People fuck up. I still love her.
Well, she also paid a lot of money. She set up a college fund, $1 million, whatever, for kids. And she went to fucking jail, man. Did you go to jail for 7-Eleven? No.
No.
Can you imagine, of all the people on that show, not her.
I
Jody,
know.
Andy Saget, we should go to jail, not her.
Yes, Saget should have died
And
in jail.
Saget, yes, it would have been a better story. I'm going to say this, and she said I could. She wasn't really the architect of any of it. She was in the way background. She really didn't know what was going on,
Let's even say it was her idea entirely.
but it wasn't.
I've loved people who did much worse things
Yeah.
than that. What people love to do is to make it relative to the poor black woman who spent 8 years in jail for saying that their address was wrong. That's horrendous on its own. And that's a total miscarriage of justice.
Totally.
And we can have outrage about that without having to make it relative to Lori Loughlin. We have enough capacity in our brain.
I do think that it's so sweet that you guys are still in touch.
She moved in my neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
So Lori comes over a couple weeks ago. She got mad because she said my impression of her is not great, but
Okay.
hey, let's do a TikTok, I said, let's not do a TikTok. How about that?
Oh my God.
She's like, no, let's do a TikTok. So, all right, okay. And then it's the dirtbag thing or whatever. And so we're Googling like young John Stamos and Lori Loughlin. Man, it was so stupid. And then TikTok is 8 seconds, 15 seconds. It took us like 4 hours, 4.5 hours.
This is why I
And I was
can't.
like, oh, fuck it, man, it kills me. Then she said, look how well our TikToks do.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm going to miss that one. I'm stopping at Instagram.
Yes.
You've got 9 things to say.
Sorry.
No.
Anything about his PG-13 sexiness?
Yes, that's what I want to say.
Okay.
I think the reason that there's PG-13 sexiness / there's safe but edgy is totally born out of Full House. I don't think it was before that. I think it's because Uncle Jesse was Uncle Jesse. He was safe, but he was
Nurturing to children.
exactly. It was a kids show, but there was this rebellious character within a kids show.
Right.
So that's why we all do
guess
have those
so.
feelings about you. It's like, oh my God, edgy but safe.
I think it predates it because the story from high school is also that. He is, by all counts, a sex machine. Visually, you're so good looking, it's ridiculous. And you're a musician, but you're also the guy getting punched out by the dude at high school. You were telling everyone immediately. There's an innocence to that. You lost your virginity late. That stuff's all there. He's not a scumbag.
No, of course not. But I think the reason where there's a ubiquitous feeling around you is because of Full House.
Maybe.
But
don't
you
think
were
about
attacked
yourself
several
like
times.
this.
Would you say you were
By
attacked?
women?
Yes.
A few times, only because I was always like, I don't want to be so presumptuous that a girl thinks that I think I'm so cool I could make a move on her. I went out with a number of girls who called, like I remember one very famous girl, and I didn't do anything. And she called my friend who set us up, said, what, is he gay? What is he doing here? You didn't lay one hand on me. I'm like, I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And it just feels presumptuous. So I never did.
It's the advisable path.
And here's the other thing that's probably going to sound like bullshit, but people's image of me is different than what I am and who I am, I think. And we all have that, right? To an extent. But this Lothario guy that people were painting, I felt like, I got to keep this up for them. What I really wanted was a family, a wife, a kid.
Yeah.
I always wanted that my whole life. I was always into relationships. So I wasn't out catting around like a lot of my contemporaries were.
Yeah.
I was in long-term relationships for a good amount. I had 10 bad years. My dad died. I got divorced. It should have been 1 year, 6 months, but it lasted too long.
How are you with monogamy? Not currently, but are you someone who cheated?
No.
Because I would imagine if the girls didn't love you in high school and it happened at the very end, once girls start loving you, I don't know how one resists that.
I got cheated on a number of times.
Okay.
I was on General Hospital, and some of the makeup or hair person says, this girl wants to go out with you. She's in love with you. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
She was a very popular television actress at the time, and I was just fell madly in love for so long. I couldn't get a hold of her for a few days, and then I went over to her house and I caught her in bed with somebody. And it was just like, oh, fuck me. And it took me years. My wife says, I've never been heartbroken. I know. Really? Okay, good. Well, good. And she does talk like that. I mean, she never got left. She never got dumped. Whatever. But I have been heartbroken a lot. It took me many, many years to get over that. Too many, again.
Which
too many
is
years.
probably why you give 60% until your wife.
Yes.
I had 2 different girls that I was really, I'd say I was in love with, cheated on me when I was young. And so I went the other way, which was like, I found the feeling to be so terrible. I mean, the worst.
Yeah.
I went and fought a dude over it, and I was so blind by the time I got there. When I tried to punch him through the window, I punched his steering wheel because I couldn't even see, right?
Yeah.
It's the worst I've ever felt that I can remember. And I made a decision at like 18. I was like, I'm not signing up for this ever again.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever have this expectation of somebody because I can't tolerate this feeling. And so I'm never going to have this expectation of somebody. My expectation isn't that Kristen and I are going to die and she never fucked anyone else. I have different expectations of her. That she has
happens,
to communicate with me, that she has to be a good mother. I've got a list of things that are priorities to me. But I never again signed up for you're going to demonstrate that you love me by being exclusive to me. I don't want any part of that contract anymore because I don't like how it fucking feels.
But I've been broken, a lot like that. Grew up in Disneyland. It was always that. Like, where's my fairy tale wedding? And, I'm going to live forever with my wife, my kids and stuff. When that didn't happen the first time, I was like, oh my God, man.
But that was a very successful relationship. You guys were
was
together
long
like
enough.
10 years?
Yeah, it was long. But I didn't want it to be over.
Okay. When people get divorced that I've seen, and they've been together like 20 years, they've raised some kids or something, I'm like, gang, that's a very successful union of two humans. It's almost
hard.
impossible.
Does that scare you that he talks about marriage, how difficult it is? And we just talked with Kristen out there. And my wife, at first I thought, she doesn't take chances. She's not out there sticking her neck out. And she does take chances now. But now I'm so grateful to have like just a normal,
Stability.
stable woman who every day she impresses me more and more. She's an activist in this beautiful charities and stuff. But it's still next to impossible. Happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you. 9 years today. And
9
Chris-
years, longer than that.
Well, 15 years together, but 9 years married today.
What was your wedding like?
Courthouse.
So
we dressed
fancy?
up. We went to the Beverly Hills courthouse.
Okay.
One person was there, our friend Amy. She took some pictures, and that was that. Back to the famous thing.
Okay.
I wanted it, but the notion of having a day where 100 people stare at her and I was the last thing we wanted.
Are you okay with it now?
Much better with it. But I'm just saying, to plan a day where
Wedding.
we're the belle of the ball. We've already had that in real life so much it didn't appeal to us.
Caitlin, she didn't care at all. We had a very small thing too. But one of our first dates was Disney World. We're both Disney freaks.
Disney adults.
Disney, yeah, which I always thought was, I got to get rid of this image. This is why people think of me as Pollyanna or whatever you were saying earlier. Then Ryan Gosling was out with him one night, and he was talking about Disney and how much he loved it. There's a fucking Ryan
And
Gosling.
he was in the Mickey Mouse Club. He like
but
lived there,
as
right?
an adult, before he was buried, he was going all the time. So we went to Disney World, and we were at Epcot, and I had a hat and glasses on, and a guide thing.
This is early on. I need to set this up.
This was early.
You're still trying to impress her.
Yes, yeah. It was our first big date. My current wife.
Yeah.
We went to Disney World, and no one was recognizing me at Epcot. I was trying to impress her, which later I found out she didn't give a fuck about.
You started in hats and shades.
Hats and glasses, yeah. So I take the shades off, trying to make eye contact with people. And then I take my hat off because my hair is famous. I think that's got to work.
Oh, yeah.
And still sort of nobody. I'm like, what the fuck? Can I have some popcorn? Oh, mercy. Just dropping catch lines. And she goes, what are you doing? And I said, nothing. She goes, you're trying to get recognized, aren't you? I said,
She busted him.
"No."
She busted him.
And she termed that epcotting.
You forgot your old move, which is to hire your friend to come ask for your autograph. Your original move.
Yeah.
You should have brought him, like dusted him off, put him back in
That's
the
right.
game.
She didn't give
In
a
rotation.
fuck who I was, where I came from, which was great.
I mean, she obviously
really
knew who you were. It's impossible.
Yeah, but she never watched the show. She'd
Didn't
love to
care.
tell everybody, I don't watch that show. It's good.
Okay.
That's
Wait,
great.
Couple Full House things. Saget, you love. You guys were best friends.
Did you know him?
I knew Saget a little bit because I would be doing stand up where I'd bump into him at all the comedian hangouts.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of funny. Both you and him had this persona on TV that was so unlike your
You're right.
real
Yeah,
people.
right. Opposite
yeah,
of what we
both of you.
were.
That's
kind of
nuts.
flipped.
he was a comic and I was coming in as an actor. So I left General Hospital where Gloria Monty took me to lunch and said, you'll never work again if you leave this. I said, well, I think I will. I probably will.
Yeah.
That's how I was, by the way. Like you said, how did you do? Like I just did it. My parents didn't put up any obstacles. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to play with the beach, whatever. I just did it. I don't mean to simplify it, but I just didn't go. I can't get an age. I can't get this. I don't know.
Right.
I just went for it, but of course, I was very, very lucky and all this stuff.
Before Full House, really quick, Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons, when you do this movie, he's 17 feet tall. You grew up with Kiss being New Kids on the Block. Like Kiss, we had murals on my wall because my brother's 5 years older than me of Kiss. They were the biggest band in the world. What a force to have in this movie as you're 19. Like, were you at all curious about his overall lifestyle?
I don't remember. I mean,
Okay.
I think I became friends with him a little bit, and I've known him over the years.
Okay. He was outrageously rich. He was
Yeah,
a
he was-
Lothario. He had a very large appetite. He was wild.
But he was with his wife then, Shannon Tweed, who was kind of cool. We had a rap party, and I put a band together, and he played bass. He cut his fingers, and the blood went all over the silver part of the bass, and it's still there.
Whoa.
Just put on the trailer or something sometime. And it's like a great voice of Don LaFontaine, who did In a World, but that guy.
Yeah. Lazenby played your dad.
I was a young James Bond. I mean, it was so fucking bad that it's genius. And Gene played some sort of hermaphrodite.
Okay,
And he
sure.
was like, whatever he was, and he's like, singing a song. But you go like, okay, where's my shot? I'm going to be a movie star. It never happened. So by the end of that, I was like, I got to get the fuck out. Seinfeld Seinfeld was coming, all these shows that I wished I was on. And it took me years. I did a show with Jack Klugman right before that. Jack was one of the great actors, Odd Couple, and did a lot of theater. And he would talk to me about theater all the time. And he said, get to the theater. I said, what do I do with this fucking Full House? My dad hated it too. I was like, it's a stupid ass show.
Your dad hated Full House?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't like it. I mean, but it wasn't lofty. I mean, it wasn't, it was silly,
Yeah.
And I don't know why we're talking about Full House 35 years later, but it has something. I don't know what it is yet.
There was a whole article that came out once the new Fuller House
House.
came out.
Saget used to say, we'll just do Fullest House and I'll be in an urn on the fireplace. He really projected a lot of things that have happened. Anyways,
Whoa. Yes, there was an article that came out about my age millennial that we're hyper nostalgic because we're the first generation that like really, really remembers what it's like to have lived with extreme technology and without. To have like our formative years cut in half by the cell phone. We walk around with all this nostalgia of like what used to be, and we are the Full House generation. So I think we do like carry a lot of love for
and
it.
it's also, with everything that's going on in the world with the pandemic and politics, it's safe. It's a home-cooked meal.
is.
It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
comfort food to watch a show like that, I guess.
Yes.
But I said, how do I get away from this fucking thing? You know, Jack said, go to the theater. So I went to New York. I'd never been on stage. I'm not a good singer. I auditioned to replace Matthew Broderick, who just won a Tony. And I was like, fuck it, I can do this. I thought like, if I practiced 10 hours a day, singing, dancing, whatever, I could do it. And I did. And then I'm like, what the fuck? Do you ever feel like this? That fearlessness that you used to have? Like, I got to get back to that fucking guy. What happened to him?
Yeah.
Or her, you know?
Yeah.
So I did that, and then ER came around. It was great, but I still couldn't shake it. And the last moment I remember so clearly, I was doing a Broadway play called The Best Man with James Earl Jones, arguably the greatest living actor. Angela Lansbury was in it, rest in peace. It was a 3-hour Gore Vidal play about politics. Great. I was playing this asshole politician. And you finish the show, standing ovation, and you'd go out to sign autographs, and people that were in the show, they go, Uncle Jesse, hey, Uncle. I go, fuck it. That's it. I love it. Yes, call me Uncle Jesse. Anything you want. I
Yeah.
just was on stage with James Earl Jones, and they're still saying Uncle Jesse. Who cares? And
Acceptance.
acceptance. So that was maybe 10 years ago. Now I just get it. You know, it's beautiful.
I'm glad because my idol, who's a lawyer, I know him through sobriety. He's my hero. He's raised 2 daughters beautifully. He stayed married. I worship the dude, right?
That's a good person to idolize.
You know, in AA, they say like find someone that has what you want,
Right.
and find out how they got it. That he's the dude who has what I want. He told me this great story. He had a client that had signed on to direct a movie at Fox, and he had an option, and the director did not want to do the option. And at that time, Barry Dillard ran Fox. And my friend had a call with Barry Dillard, and Barry Dillard said, well, look, I think there's 2 ways to look at this. Your client can either be happy working at Fox, or he can be unhappy working at Fox.
He's got to work at Fox.
He's going to be working at Fox.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, the fame aspect as well has been largely just that. You have to work towards acceptance.
Yes.
It's the answer to all of our problems.
I did this other terrible thing. It was Alice in Wonderland. I did this song and dance with Harvey Korman. I was brokenhearted over this girl who I just talked about earlier when I was on General Hospital. And it was this terrible thing with the lion and the eunuch on the riding for the crown. It's terrible. With Harvey Korman. And I came and I was so busted up over this girl, and he said, assist, don't resist. Go with it a little bit. Don't fight it.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, acceptance a little bit.
And that brings us to sobriety. So 2015, you get a DUI. Were you mostly booze or were you everything?
Mainly booze, but I did drugs.
When necessary.
That day. You ever did GHB?
Oh, sure. I completely overdosed behind
You did?
Groundling's Theater and had to be resurrected with cocaine. Yeah.
That's the terrible drug, kids
the
out there, because
worst.
you could do it 5 times, the same amount, same thing. The 5th time, you pass out,
You fall out.
die, you could stop breathing. And I was driving, kind of came back when I was drinking. I was going to meet Saget too. I was going in circles around Beverly Hills. I didn't know what was happening. People were like, pull over, Uncle Jesse, you're fucked up.
Oh,
I'm like,
God.
And then I remember waking up in the hospital, and the bright light, I said, oh, I'm dead. And then the first person I see was Saget. Please don't tell me he's Jesus. Like, oh. And then I checked my zipper to make sure it was fine. But it was, it was that moment where you go like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You got everything you ever wanted, you pretty much have. I remember thinking, and I've talked about it lately, that I didn't care if I died before that, which is so fucking stupid. I didn't want to kill myself, but I was like, if I die, it's okay. I've done everything, which I hadn't. I didn't have a family, I didn't have kids, I didn't have nothing,
Know the feeling well.
Yeah.
You go to treatment, yeah?
Yeah, I went to rehab.
And if we charted your use, it was progressively got worse and worse and worse. Did you have moments that it was, quote, manageable, and then life things would happen and it would get unmanageable?
Yeah, exactly that. Because I could fool people. Did you? I thought I was fooling people.
Yeah.
I was, as an addict, exactly as I am sober, which is, I'll tell you anything. I don't have any discretion, better or worse. So when I did coke, I tell you, I'm going to the bathroom to do coke. I do coke.
Right.
Hey, what's going on? Oh, forgive me, I've been up for 2.5 days. I just tell you. I didn't really ever try to hide anything.
But did you do it at work?
So I would get sober for movies.
Yeah.
And then in between movies, they were getting progressively more
Yes.
dangerous.
Right.
My last of which was like a break right before I did this movie Zathura, and I almost died in Hawaii. And
You don't want to die in Hawaii.
No.
Not a good background.
It's
Too
too
pretty.
ironic. It's
Not
too
pretty.
ironic. You want to die in an alley.
Yeah.
You know, on Skid Row.
That's how I was. I could take a few days, but it was shitty. I'd lay around and sweat and get out of the system, go to work, do work, and then reward myself after.
Yes.
But each time took longer and longer. And again, it was more and more dangerous. But also, the universe was going, fuck you. You want a wife and a kid? Fuck you, man. You
Totally.
don't deserve it. Right before I really hit rock bottom, my mom died, and it was just bad time. And thank God I didn't kill anybody, because I could have. That could have happened. So 7 years plus, I was like, I'm not going back to that. No way. After a year and a half, too, Caitlin came around. Like any decent woman for those 10, 15 years would be like, even Monica was like, hey, Monica, let's hang out. You'd be like,
Call me
No,
when
I'd
you're
say yeah.
fuzzy.
Let's
You
do
say
it.
yeah for a minute, and you go like, eh.
No,
and
I know,
I could
I
see that.
know.
There were a lot of really nice people that came around.
Yeah, a couple times she'd be like, such and such about last night. When she realized that half of your time together you were in a blackout, she would have been like, you're not even here for this. I'm going to guess something about you. I've worked with a couple comedians. I would imagine you had two things working against you as far as recognizing you needed to get clean. One is relative to the people you hung out with. You might have been like, well, that person needs to get sober.
Yeah, that would be worse.
Right? You keep enough people in your circle that are way more fucked up than you. It can kind of keep you in denial pretty safely.
But then you start really just only hanging out with these fuckers, you know.
Yes. But even that, I'd smoke crack with people and be like, that guy's a crack addict. We did the same thing last night, but somehow that dude was a crackhead and I was not. I was like a tourist.
You were
in the crack.
dabbling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I thought I was better when I was a little liquored up. Like I thought I could be funnier. I think I would be a lot more successful today if I
Had
got
gotten your
sober
shit together.
10 to 15 years earlier. It helped me hang on to this bullshit Peter Pan thing. I didn't want to get older. I didn't want to be an adult because adulthood looked like boring to me and it was like harder work and all the fun is gone. Now you got to be an adult.
Yeah.
You know, even just to be able to sit and talk to you guys right now for an hour and a half or whatever it is and just try to look you guys in the eye and talk. Like I couldn't do that before.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to, but
Yeah.
you know, now I crave it, like to sit and talk like this with you, the smart people.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
The second thing I'm going to guess about you, because I've worked with 2 or 3 different people, your charisma and likability can really be a liability, right? Like if you are not very likable, you're not sympathetic, like you're just innately kind of a sympathetic, you exude a niceness, right? So I'd imagine you didn't experience the wreckage that your average Joe experiences. My guess is people were pretty tolerant of you being a fuck up and pretty forgiving of you when you were not accountable in these things. You can be a victim of your charisma is what I'm saying.
Maybe. I just know this. If I didn't stay on the path that I stayed on for a long time, nobody would have sympathy for me. Not my agents, not my managers. They were all very hard on me, as they should have been. My sisters, especially. My sisters, I love. I'm so close to them. They were like, get your fucking shit together, man.
Yeah.
I called my one sister from the hospital. I said, does anybody know? She goes, you're on the fucking news, man. You're on all the news stations. And you know what I did? I went home and drank a bottle of wine after that. And I had a little part in a movie to do. And I flew there. I did that. And then as soon as I got home from that, I said, take me away.
Yeah. Was that your first bit of the public wreckage?
No. It was many years ago, and I was traveling around the world, and I was going to end up in Australia to do promotion for ER. And I was with the Beach Boys in Japan, Cairo for some reason.
Oh, you're having
and
a dream life.
Dream life. And I was sober. I wasn't drinking for whatever, you know, I used 6 months, 3 months, whatever. So I was in Greece, and I was like, this is my homeland, my dad's dead. Give me some ouzo. Boom. Here, dad. To the queen, anybody, you know. And then I was boozed up all the way to Australia. And First thing I do was this interview, and the guy was like, "Oh, my kids love you. Okay, great." And so took pictures with him and all that stuff. Then he wrote this terrible article about me that I was dozing off and I was drunk. And I was trying to play that I was
Jet-lagged?
Jet-lagged, yeah. I was, but then I was also, and this is a country which I always wanted to live in. I always thought Australia's my place. But he said something about me, and then the next day I was on this talk show. In my mind, I just thought, you know what? I'm going to bury that guy. I'm going to say that he has a small penis on this show.
Oh, wow.
And I did. And I said a lot of other things. And it was on the show, and it was, Stamos, go home. Like, really? You drunk motherfuckers? Okay. You guys got me drunk. That was embarrassing. Next thing you know, I'm on a plane on my way home. So, you know what? Now that I think about it, you're right. My charisma or whatever bullshit, nice, like I got an extra shot there.
That's what I'm saying.
Like nobody said anything. Like Warner Brothers, you sent me home. You spent a lot of money. Nobody said, hey, you better stop it. John Wells, I was working for at the time, didn't make a peep. And it was every fucking word. Mike Love goofed on me, in concert and stuff. He would call me the blunder down under. But
that's what I'm saying. If you're even a little bit less likable, you don't get the second shot.
But this last one, if I didn't, pay attention, that's why I think I'm so happy, and that's why I got married and I have a kid. And my career is better than it ever has been, and it's just boom, focused.
Well, you realize how unbelievably time and resource consuming the thing is. I think the hardest thing for me getting sober is like, what are we doing with these 4 extra days? Literally, I get
a podcast.
4.
Exactly.
You guys are
5
too busy.
podcasts.
But what about vacations for you? Was that a big adjustment?
Trigger places were like amusement parks, daytime drinking. I love to do.
Yeah.
What was your thing?
Well, vacation. I remember going on vacation a year sober with my then girlfriend Bree, and I got down to Mexico, and I was like, "What now?" Like I would arrive somewhere. Well, let's get some drinks, and then everything unfolds after the drinks. You're meeting people. You're at someone's house, and I'd be looking at these fucking people at the pool drinking all day long, and I'd be like, really? That guy can do it, but I can't. That guy is superior to me in this way. That he can handle this. That guy?
Normie.
Yeah, and I'd get judgmental, and I'd think, it was.
But you're special in all the ways he's not. So why wouldn't you also be special in this other way?
Yes, I've come to now, I feel
But
good
for
about
all the
it.
addicts, I mean that there's so much beauty in people who are often, in my opinion, addicts. There's so much zhuzh and sparkle.
Or extra.
Zhuzh and Sparkle.
I know so many, and they are.
That's a good show for us to do. Zhuzh and Sparkle.
Zhuzh and Sparkle.
I want to play Zhuzh.
Okay,
you play
got
Sparkle?
It. Yeah, Sparkle. Who was Monica on there?
Zhuzh and
She's the boss.
I'm not
She's
an
the
addict, so I
captain
don't-
who's always
Captain.
threatening
I don't get to
fire
be in it
us.
because I'm not an addict yet.
Well,
I'm not.
What are you addicted to?
I do like to drink, but I don't.
But you're good.
she does it. She does it totally within the
Yeah,
parameters.
just don't even think about it.
So far,
my-
no consequences, though.
She is my dream version. Like, I don't want to be someone who can drink one drink.
Yeah, that's my
Fancy.
wife. She didn't even half.
Who gives a fuck? Why do that? I want to be able to get drunk and then shut it down at a reasonable time.
Like a buzz,
Right.
and then be done.
But what was it
Yeah.
about that? Like, I used to think it was just such a great place to be in. Because you're
The little
flirt
bubble.
fun, you're charming. That always helped me with girls too, for sure. If I
Yes.
wasn't drinking, I couldn't make a move, and that's when they would go, "He's gay." But when I was drinking, I'd be like, bring it on. And I try to explain that to my wife, and she doesn't get it. She's like, why did you need that for that?
Because
Why are you-
insecurity goes away. But okay, zhuzh and sparkle. So
Yes, you're the
addicts
boss.
are special. And you have these other parts that are different from other people too.
It's
you gotta
not
take the
going
good with
away.
the bad.
That's what I've realized. And there's so many people like us now. It's kind of nice.
Does it embarrass you to talk about it?
No, I mean, no.
I think it's cooler to have had to get sober than.
Killing somebody.
Well,
I'm gonna
certainly that's
say
cooler.
yeah.
And also, I'm sure you have those moments where you wake up and you feel fresh and take your kids to school and you go like, I couldn't have done that when I was drinking. I'd be like,
Couldn't do anything. As I said, my father died 10 years ago. I flew there twice a week to handle all that. I can't do that. Fucked up. I can't do my kids. Kids are already a beatdown. You imagine doing that with a hangover. You're like, how do you do that?
Talk to me about Parenthood, not the show, although that show was great.
Oh, thank you.
Did that change your
ever
whole
see it?
thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you doing any movies now?
I love this.
Oh,
This
really?
is all
Okay,
I want
great.
to do.
You don't
Yeah.
miss that?
No.
That's great to have. That.
Yeah.
I'm not in that, like, what if I get here? What if I get here? But I have a thing in sight, my Breaking Bad, whatever that's going to be. And I feel like I'm a couple steps closer to it now than I've ever been.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to keep going towards there. And if I get there, great. If I don't, that's okay too. But it's in reach now.
You still want it.
I still want it. And I do like acting.
Is it at all because we agree the best place to get hired from is when you don't really give a fuck or want it, right?
Yeah. Jason Bateman, I used to know him forever, and I took him out to lunch years ago. I said, what's the success? How did you get to be? He goes, I stopped giving a fuck. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I took Lexapro.
Yeah, smart.
What?
Additionally, he had kids.
Yeah.
So this is where I'm going with you is like, if you want to be famous, that's the first declaration. I want to be famous. You get famous and you really don't give a fuck if you die and you drink yourself into an early grave. Clearly the fame thing, as fun as it might be, it didn't really fill the bottomless pit, right?
No.
It's a dangerous identity to have because you're not in charge of it. It can be
Right.
taken from you.
And if you want it so bad, you got to keep trying for it.
Yeah, and it's got an inherent desperation to it. There's all these things.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden when you're a dad, I don't know about you, but I've had like epic failures in the last 9 years. And those failures, I'll be like ruminating about it. And then I walk in there and I'm like, oh, but right now these little guys don't give a fuck about that. It saved me. It's really, really saved me. To have that as the cornerstone of my identity versus all the other ones, I think has opened up the floodgates to
And
other
now you're
things.
successful. Good for you. But that's good that you go like, this is what I'm doing now. It's so hard to let go until we get older. You know, I always think like, I wish I could go back to my younger self and go, it's going to be all right, man. Just let go. Let It Go is a song that you might have heard.
A couple million times.
Yeah,
I'm familiar with that.
that. I'm so happy for you guys. You know, I just love you both. I don't know you very well. Monica now I know, and I love you too.
So well.
Listen, we love Caitlin.
My wife?
Yeah.
Do you know her?
We love Caitlin.
You
and we
know her?
love your marriage to her.
thank you.
If things don't work out,
Threesome?
I'm just saying I will go to the wedding of you and Monica. That's all I'm
Okay,
saying.
we're keeping that on
I'm
the
just
table.
We love Caitlin. I want
we
this
love
to
her.
go
Yeah,
the
love her, love her.
distance.
We love her.
Yes.
She's
I
doing
wanna-
so well. I talked to Kristen. She's doing this great thing called Vote Mama. You know, because so many women are not getting into politics because they have children. There's like 5% of Democratic women in politics that have kids or something like that. It's terrible.
Okay.
Because they don't take care of the kids. There's no child help. You can't use funds for. So anyway, I was hitting your wife up to.
That's
To help with your
cool.
wife's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
I'm so
that.
proud of.
That's right up
like,
her alley.
my wife started out with just like, oh, she's so simple, she's so great. And then she's just building and building. And now she's like a powerhouse. I just look at her and go, wow, what an inspiration she is for our son.
Yeah.
It's so
So-
beautiful
That's
to watch.
beautiful.
I admire you because if Kristen left me, I couldn't marry someone younger because I couldn't rejoin the enthusiasm that they would deserve to
It is
build the
hard.
big part of their life.
right.
Because I'm on the backside of it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's like,
Monica, have you
oh,
ever talked to
yeah,
him
I
about the
cared.
pronunciation of couldn't?
What'd you say?
What
He
What'd you
just said
say?
it 5 times. How do you say couldn't?
Couldn't?
Oh yeah, he says all kinds of words.
Words
I
weird.
look
Yeah.
past.
I mean, you're 1,000 times smarter than me, but
Oh, my diction
That's
is
why it's fun. It's
horrendous.
mixed messages.
So I was having a meeting with a producer and he had a picture of young kids on his desk. And this man was much older than me. And I said, is that your second go around? And he said, yeah. And I said, I would feel so nervous. I couldn't match the enthusiasm that the new wife would deserve for her firstborn child because I already did it.
right.
I don't think that's true.
Well, I
though.
didn't have kids. We were both married before.
Or
It's
your
still your
kids.
kid. You're gonna care.
Not the kid.
Oh, no,
I'm
what?
talking about dating someone that's earlier in their career and watching them be enthusiastic and on fire and hungry and trying to remember that enthusiasm and excitement and meet them there when you yourself are maybe past that phase of it.
Yeah, but it's also about being supportive. Like, I just love supporting her.
Yeah.
right?
Okay, great.
I mean, and she's not trying to be an actress. a
Let's
little bit.
say though that like she just got her first role on a soap opera. You'd have to basically be like, "Oh my god, this is great." You know, in your mind, this was 34 years.
No, I wouldn't think that. I'd be, it's fucking great.
You know
But
what I'm
you're right.
saying, though?
It's a great place to be, and that's when success comes. Because it is all about the kids. I like, you know, you get another TV show, another thing.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? Thank God. Because if I didn't have her and my son, I'd be boozed. Forget it. I could not have held on to sobriety.
Yeah, there'd be nothing worth.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about Big Shot. Check in with whatever because we have had you for 2 hours and that's
It's
a long
okay
time.
because it's okay.
Everything all's
I'm
good.
doing this new show. Did you ever do Californication? Do you like that show?
I love that show.
I had this idea, and I went to the guy, Tom Campanos, who created and wrote every episode of that. I said, what about this idea? So we sold it. And then he was doing this other show. He said, will you come do this thing, this fucked up rock star? I said, yeah. So that's what I'm going today.
Are you able with Big Shot to dance around on different shows?
Yeah, well, that show, we finished that season.
Second season.
Yes, dropped recently, and we don't know if we're picked up.
Okay, Big Shot is out now on Disney Plus. And one of the articles I read about you was like you embracing being in family shows. Fuller House was enormous. Am I right about that? Like it was enormous.
Yes.
Do you remember being at Warner Brothers in the executive lounge and you were with Saget and we all had a stop and chat? You might not remember. But
Pretty
you
good
guys
at
were like
remembering everything.
shooting.
Yeah.
and you were eating there inside the Warner Brothers lounge.
Right.
Me and Panay, Yorgo Panay.
Wait, for Full House or Fuller?
Fuller House.
Oh, for
they
Fuller.
were shooting
Okay.
Fuller
Was I
House.
there?
Yes,
Yeah.
and we were there because I was about to direct Chips.
When I saw you in a restaurant, it was over at Monty's.
Monty's.
Or Monty's, was it? It was a steakhouse over by Warner Brothers.
Oh.
No, it's
Morton's?
Morton's.
I ate there almost daily.
Yeah, and I was
Yes.
with Richard Weiss, my age at the time, and
Yes.
you were with some hot
Panay.
shot guy. Was it him?
Yorgo.
Marty Croft was there. Do you remember that?
No,
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
So the story went nowhere.
No, but this is good because I had one where
Sometimes
you
they
don't
don't.
remember in the
Every now
Warner
and then.
Brothers lounge, and you have one at Morton's that I don't remember.
Do you remember
This is-
when we were at Kimmel's and one year he had, there's equipment in the thing and everybody was playing and it was fucking terrible. Like it made me nuts, which you shouldn't have. I should be more humble because I'm not that great. But like, why are you doing this, Kimmel? Like everybody was there. They couldn't get through a song. Nobody knew how to play any instrument. I mean nothing. And there's a lot of big stars there. And so the next year I go, I'm going to get some equipment there and I'm going to get my friend of mine who can play every instrument and I can play a lot of instruments and we're going to play some songs. That's when you were there. He just sent me a picture of you playing drums. Kimmel got so pissed off that I brought a ringer, but everybody was going, Stamos, sing, Stamos. And I'm like, I don't want to sing Clooney's, sing, Stamos. He gets that thing going. You guys were there and you said, go sing with Stamos. It's
Yeah,
a
help
big
him
deal.
out, help him out.
And we sang Summer Nights or something from Greece.
Oh,
And-
summer
Yeah,
loving
yeah.
had me again.
No,
that
not,
one?
Not again, but yeah.
Yeah, Howard goes
Yeah,
with
that was
those.
it. Then Kimmel went on Howard saying, that fucking Stamos brought a ringer. And and then but I think Kimmel got pissed, halfway through and just unplugged everything and we did karaoke.
Yeah, I do remember the karaoke.
Yeah.
Did you and
Good
Kristen
times.
maybe also sing karaoke? I seem to
I
remember.
don't like to sing.
This was before you were sober. It's incredible you remember any of this.
You're right.
You did not appear to be a drunk to me.
Even Howard was like, should I have come to help you out there? I didn't notice it.
And I got pretty good spidey senses. Like I see what's happening. I got good addict radar.
But maybe I wasn't on your radar.
Okay.
Well, you weren't
Back-
on his DMs. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well, he wasn't fine.
Sorry, had to.
Selling
I was
me
like
out
a
'cause he's
schoolgirl,
so
like-
hot. This
like-
is really incredible.
I was writing this like, I love you. And I remember rewriting it a couple times.
Oh,
Just to be,
no.
because I was so impressed with this show. And I was like, I'm not trying to get on the show. I just want to tell you, you're so smart and you're so great. And
I'm gonna
you're so
find
intelligent.
it. I'm gonna find
I deleted
it.
it because you didn't answer me after like 2 or 3 weeks.
gone.
And then I was like, you know what? Fuck him.
Forever.
No. I
I'm
didn't
gonna
say that.
look
But I
for
felt,
it.
Then I reread it. I was like, what am I doing? Like, I sound silly.
Who doesn't want to hear that?
Yeah,
You're right.
absolutely.
I'm going to DM both of you guys after this.
Okay.
Just slide in your DMs.
Back to Big
The
Shot.
show.
Can we talk about Big Shot?
Yes, please.
Okay. It's out right now, season 2. Interesting transition. First year, hour long.
Mm-hmm.
Second year, half hour. Everyone says it's even better. Confined and focused.
Yes, it is. Yeah, okay. I was going to make a joke. Do you find it part of being an adult and part of being someone that's respected is someone that just listens and stays focused? I have 8,000 jokes going through my mind at all times. I have 8,000 defense things like, oh, big shot, big,
Yeah. Do you have ADHD? Like, have you
maybe
ever been
a little bit, but I can fight it. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sorry, go ahead. So big shot is a half hour now, yes.
Can I say 2 things? There's always a point in these interviews where I start making some physical assessments.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So your
put this
mouth is often like Cooper's. You do have a similar mouth. Maybe it's because of this beard and you're also playing somebody. And then the eyes, Monica, a little bit of Casey Affleck in the eyes.
I guess I could kind of see Casey a little
and the
bit.
eyes and the eyebrows.
Are you busy? I have something in my car. Will you grab it? Do you mind? Is that shitty?
Is it real?
No, he doesn't mind.
Yeah, I have something for her.
He'd love to go through your
Just
shit.
press this button, one of those
What's
buttons.
he looking
and it's
for?
in the
There's going to
back
be a
seat,
lot of stuff in
and
it.
it's something from the past.
Ooh, something from the past?
I have
Is
to.
it a wardrobe of the row?
I wish.
Me too.
We got to talk about Big Shot, but let's do
We talked
Mary,
about
let's
it,
do
didn't we?
Mary Kate and Ashley really quick.
Do you know them?
So I dated Ashley right before Kristen.
Wow, that brought him to his knees.
Wow, that's the most powerful thing I said.
Yeah.
How do you not start with that?
You didn't know that.
Well, I don't wanna
huh? Look, it's
brag.
up there. It's up on that little sign.
It is up on there. Would you date Dax? 72% say no. You wonder why I'm insecure.
I
Look
thought
at
that
that.
was-
Look at that data.
But I thought that was the Beebs, that picture.
No, this is about
That's
who I
the
dated.
deed.
I've had to pee for about 45 minutes.
I knew
Why
it.
don't you go?
No.
Why don't you go?
No.
Go.
No.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I will go
Let's
while you
go.
guys are in here.
But hold on.
I brought
Okay,
this
so this is.
Oh,
Oh.
is this for me?
Yeah. I didn't know you were a fan, but I put it in my backseat
Look
just in case.
Oh,
Uncle Jesse,
this.
Uncle Jesse
action.
guitar. Can I read the description?
Yes.
It's called Rockin' Jesse.
Holy
Jesse's
shit.
guitar holds family photos. They wanted to get it all.
All of it. And I-
Now, you know who you look
Mickey
like
and
in this
Alex
photo.
are on the
Go ahead.
back.
You know who you look like there?
You?
No, who do you look like there? Can you see it?
John Stamos?
No,
Elvin.
Emilio Estevez. I almost thought it was him.
Oh, I don't care about. I care about John Stamos.
I hated that when it
That's
came
so
out again. And I was
Estevez-y.
like, do you have
This-
dolls of you? You must on something.
I don't have any dolls with me. So.
I am so grateful, and also this is something that I didn't have. I had a lot of Full House
You did?
memorabilia,
Really?
yeah, but I didn't have this. So this is going up on a shelf.
Where are
I'm
you
gonna
guys
let you
going?
pee. We're gonna let you pee. We have to step out.
Now that they're gone, I'm going to steal this painting on the wall, a very beautiful painting of Monica, and nice frame. And then there's an article of Dax and Ashley Olsen. I didn't know that. I could do this interview by myself. We don't need these guys. Hold on, let me pee. All right, everybody. This is so funny that you guys have to do this. I've never.
the whole thing.
It's part of the, I've never heard this on one of your shows.
We cut it out a lot.
I'm just gonna text
We're
these
getting
people and
late.
say I'm running a little late because
I'm going to land
We're
the plane.
wrapping
Don't
it up.
worry. Yeah.
it's all right.
But I got my present.
Running late. What's
Yes.
weird about that is that it says this product contains small parts. That's not cool.
Oh yeah,
Maybe a
they called
choking
you out.
hazard. You know, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, choking hazard is the opposite of small parts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why don't they get their theming together? So you dated Ashley Olsen for when? What? I think I do remember now.
Right when
Was
I
that-
met Kristen 15 years ago.
Right when you met her. What do you mean?
Well, like I
were
was
dating her
single
before.
and I was seeing people and there was overlap.
Oh, okay.
You fell to the floor. So my assumption is you find her to be very beautiful and
No, I just did. I mean, it just seems
it's
like
just a shocker.
Yeah, a little
big
bit, right?
shock.
Especially for you because you met her as a baby. I didn't know
Yeah.
her as a baby.
No,
Right?
but I do know her as an adult, both of them, and they're just wonderful, beautiful girls. We weren't fighting or anything, but they didn't want to participate in Fuller House, and I eventually got it. Lori was like, they just won a CFDA, what is that what it's called?
Yeah.
And that's like winning an Oscar. They won it 3 years in a row. They don't want to act. Lighten up, John.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Oh, you were a little hurt that they didn't want to
Yeah,
participate.
and I guess they didn't get the proper offer. There was something
They're on
messed
to
up.
the next.
they
They're on a
don't want
different
to. Yeah,
level
they haven't
now.
wanted to act
They
for
are.
2 decades
They're
now.
fashion.
And they came out for Bob's funeral and all that stuff. And it was so great. Bob was the one who kept us all together. Like he was the glue of the texting. Everybody says, well, you guys are still friends after all these years? Because of Bob. But they were so beautiful. Oh, God, they came to my house a bunch. We love you. We miss you. And, we missed those days because we didn't know what they thought of that time. Because there was some rumors saying, well, they didn't like it and stuff. But they just told us all the things that we'd been dying to hear. They were just there for Bob. And it was great.
I can't speak for Mary Kate's opinion, but when I was with Ashley, I did ask her about that stuff, and she just was in love with Saget. Like
Yeah,
she
they were
just couldn't have liked him more.
They came to my house and they brought sage.
Oh yeah,
And
clean up your space.
Pork chops, frozen pork chops.
Oh wow!
What a good
It
combo.
was interesting. And
Mixed messages again.
And our nanny, for a year and a half or so, she kept it quiet about Full House. I was like, I think she's a fan. My wife was like, nah, she doesn't give a shit about it.
yeah.
Then I saw back on her phone was a Mary Kate and Ashley that was on there.
Oh my God.
So she was like a super, but kept it really cool. So when they came over, I said, hey, introduced them. And a few days later, I said, do you want to take the pork chops? You're going to have the pork chops. Okay, yeah, can I?
I hope she
that's
keeps them frozen
so
for eternity.
Yeah.
So she always
Sweet.
has them.
I'm obsessed with them. I love.
Have you met them? Did you know them?
No, Dax will not make it happen.
I don't think I have the
I
power
have
to make it happen.
A lot of their wardrobe, though.
I-
I spend way too much money on their clothes.
I
will
respect
say.
them. They don't want to be on TV.
I do too.
They
I
don't
love
want to
it.
be in an
But
interview. They don't
built
want to
an
be
empire, right?
Yeah.
$1 billion, whatever, $500 million.
Yeah.
They don't need the approval. It's really endearing.
I dig it.
Well,
So we're
I got
back
a
in.
toy.
You got a toy.
You
And
got
I
a
love
really
it.
fun toy.
Oh,
I can't believe you don't think
Don't
this looks
break
like
it.
Emilio Estevez. If I send this picture to my brother right now and say, who is this? He'll say that's Emilio Estevez.
You two have even gone beyond what I thought you would be in a great way. I think
is
you're
so
so
nice.
smart.
I
and
hope
fun and
you'll
beautiful.
check us out on Spotify because without bragging, can I tell you
Well,
something?
people are already listening to Spotify. We don't need to do it. Have fun
We've
doing it.
gotten better. If you
to.
liked our
Well,
show
are
2
you really?
years ago, we're much better
Why?
now. And our guests have
just
been
better-
phenomenal. We're better listeners.
communication.
I'm a better listener. I'm learning to
You're
speak
great.
less.
If you're fans of these two out there, take my word for it. In person, they're just as lovely and they're just as sparkly. Oh wait, I'm Sparkles. You're
Zhuzh and
Zhuzh.
Sparkles.
And Monica is
The
just
sheriff.
glowing and smiling, and she's got a beautiful
you.
smile,
Oh.
and beautiful skin, and beautiful inside
Thank
and out.
you.
She's super smart. But I was afraid to come on here because I didn't think I was smart enough.
Oh, come on.
But I listen to you guys all the time, except for the last year or so.
All the time except for the last 15 months.
But you know how it is. It's like
Yes.
you get like flipping around. It's like, oh, what happened to that? Okay, well, let's just go to this next thing. And
That's me and Howard. Like, it's still my
Yeah,
favorite
exactly.
show in the world,
Yeah, but
but
you don't
I
listen
don't
to that.
listen all the time. One guess at who this is, period, 90s.
We gotta let him go.
I know, we're letting him go, but that might
not
come in
gonna be-
quick. That
I
might come
I'm
in
worried
quick.
about your sketch.
It's,
Yeah,
I
I am
just told
too.
them that I'm on here a little longer. Diva, he called me. Okay.
This has been so lovely. I'm really regretful that I just learned of that DM thing and that I didn't see that. And it would be my worst
figured.
nightmare that you would think I was big timing you and wouldn't respond with thank you so much because I would love to hear that from you.
Well, you
and
just said,
so
you just said thank. I just said everything nice about you.
yeah,
you
and
said
I
thanks.
so appreciate it, especially taking the time to reach out and let someone know you love something is like my favorite thing someone can do. And I'm always
so.
thrilled when that happens.
My showrunner just said that somebody pitched you to play my role in this thing that I'm going to do right now.
And then he thought better of it.
Yeah, let's see. Why should
Who
we get him on?
pitched me? Someone he works with? Call him and let's find out what's
Oh,
going
wow.
on. Yeah, while we wait for my brother. Oh, he got it. John Stamos.
Yeah, of course. What did Emilio Estevez, my ass?
I mean, yeah.
Maybe
let's-
Tom.
Oh, wow, comma. You nailed it, period. I thought for sure it was Emilio Estevez.
Okay, he's not answering.
I don't wanna
He's
see
afraid
that.
of it.
I don't want to see her as a baby. I want to think
There's
of her
a
as a
line in
sexual
this-
creature.
There's a line in this show. This is loosely based on Jessica Simpson's memoir of all
Oh,
things.
really? Are you playing Nick Lachey?
No. But this character's really great. She says something about, I was 5 years old. My sister had pictures. He goes like, that's stop. Because he ends up fucking her. He says, I don't want to take a view at 5 years old.
yes. So that's for like a streamer, like a rated R,
Yeah, soft R.
PG-13 and a soft R. What is the name of that show?
Right now it's called Open Book.
I'm very excited to see you as a rock star.
You've always been a rock star.
Yeah.
Uncle
always-
Jesse was a rock star too.
And you played with the Beach Boys forever.
That's
You're a
right.
musician. You're on Broadway.
You're more than smart enough to be on this show. I hope that's
Really?
your takeaway. After
Yes.
this.
But it,
I-
it comforts me that you have some insecurity, as you should.
Well, I'd listen to you guys and go, oh God, I couldn't keep up.
Well,
Something
Dax
about-
is an encyclopedia.
Both of you.
Thank you. I have always adored you. And every time I've met you, I've been blown away with how fucking generous and nice you are. For me, I grew up with you already a huge star. So if I'm arriving on the scene and you're really kind to me, I'm shocked by that and always have been.
Why not?
Let's go to Morton's and have some fucking lamb.
that's good.
What do you get at Morton's? I get lamb. Well done.
I don't know. I haven't been there since you were there.
In the 90s.
Bad
Look
experience.
who eats here. I'm not coming back to this thing.
Okay. I hope you'll come back. I hope you'll
Yeah.
find that this was pleasant enough that you'll come
I
back.
just said it was.
Okay. When you're promoting the Rockstar vehicle.
I have this book too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
when
the
does that
book.
come out?
I thought I had nothing. Like, what? Why a book? What am I going to talk about? And I've said no forever.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to talk about who I slept with. Well,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit, but not much. My mom, she left all these notes. She wrote these beautiful letters. You should do that for your kids. I don't know if you do, but I found all these notes for years and years. I keep finding them. And one of the great ones when I was at my lowest was, she said, life is an occasion. Rise to it. Don't be sad because I died. Be happy because I lived. I had a wonderful life. So I have all those notes. So I figured, okay, maybe that's my way in with a book.
The last observation I wanted to make that I meant to right from the get-go was the fact that you and Saget were best friends and you love Rickles.
Yeah.
You're drawn to the people that are almost the opposite public persona as you, if that makes sense.
I'm drawn to funny people.
Okay.
I love comics. I love comedians. I love to study you guys because there's so much precision and math. And Bob was that. I learned a lot.
Is it possible that also you've felt a little confined by the lane you're in? And that you've kind of looked at these guys who, I mean, Saget's as dirty as a motherfucker could have ever been.
right. No, that wasn't
There's
it.
no part of that where you're like, oh God, they're
wish I
allowed
could
to
say
just,
that or something.
yeah, like they're
Yeah.
just allowed to say whatever they want.
No, it wasn't that. I just love the art of it. And in turn, a lot of comics then liked me because I had something that they...
Yes.
I remember Howard or someone saying, like, what's it feel like to walk in a room and people look at you and think you're attractive or
stud.
something? I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't know. What's it like to be the smartest, funniest motherfucker on the radio ever? He is the absolute best at
Yeah,
what he
he's
does.
the Michael Jordan of radio. He's the king of all media, which is why I'm the king of conveyances.
That's what you said on that show. I heard that.
Wouldn't dare compete. John, this has been a pleasure. I really hope you come back and talk about either your book or your new role as a rock star.
We played drums together.
Played drums. I was too shy to play for him. He offered to observe, which is very generous of you. Again, in
I did
keeping.
show up and he was sweaty.
Yep.
Been working out.
Yeah.
And I said, "You're going to take a shower. I have. It's okay." And he said, "No."
No, I'm not gonna.
And then we
You
almost
were
hugged.
gifted with that face. I was gifted with the fact that I don't smell when I sweat. That's my
Oh, really?
big
Yeah, that's good.
superpower.
Yeah, that's
I
a good
rarely
one to have.
smell. All right. Well, I adore you. I hope you come back. Thanks for coming. Thanks for all your time.
He's an armchair expert. Monica. There's a Monica thing on the mouse, and I'm Dax Shepard.
And now my favorite part of the show, the fact check with my soulmate, Monica Padman.
Oh, I was going to say something.
Hey, look like you were either going to sneeze or remember something.
I dropped off the suitcase inside.
Oh, okay.
Thought maybe you'd need it.
Okay. Even though it was your Christmas present?
Is it?
Yeah, you can have it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, did you love it?
Yeah.
Then yes, you can have it.
but we can
It was
share
intended
it.
to be a Christmas present.
But we could just share it. You might love it. You will love it. It's really nice.
I love the away bag I have.
Not until you try this.
Expandable.
It
So-
got so thick.
Well, it's a Toomey. Let's
Exactly.
say that. Toomey,
Yeah.
McLaren branded
Yeah.
roll-on.
You let me borrow it for my trip.
Uh-huh.
It was brand new. I had some guilt.
And then I offered you the away bag.
Yeah.
I said, well, here's the away bag. And you said, yeah, I really like this other bag. So I said, okay.
Sorry.
You, take it. And then I said, Merry Christmas.
Well, you said you wanted to give it. You were planning on giving it to someone for Christmas.
And now I did.
And now you did.
Yeah, mission accomplished.
No, you should try it out first.
No.
Yeah, because expandable.
I know, but
Aways
Merry
are not-
Christmas.
Aways are not expandable.
Band? How? Oh, like a.
It gets really thick.
Oh, it's like old
It's got an
school.
accordion middle section.
2 zips that make it huge. It did fall on me when I tried to put it up today.
I imagine because it was probably too tall to fit under there with the many times you had expanded.
No, it fit in there, but it was just heavy because I could fit a lot in it.
Yeah, and you lost your
Cool.
footing.
Well, also I'm too short.
Okay, so you thought it was in.
Well, I'm like trying to, it's like, but it's high and
Yeah.
it's heavy and it doesn't, once it's expanded, the handle situation isn't great. So I'm like
Okay.
kind of, anyway, it falls, so it comes crashing. And
On
then,
your head?
yeah, and then in the aisle, and then a lady helped me.
Oh my God.
Taller
I'm
lady.
So sorry.
Taller lady than me. Had to make a short person joke.
You did?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Too hard for shorties.
Oh, that was the joke?
Yeah.
Too hard for shorties.
She laughed.
I bet she did. Everyone was uncomfortable. They were thinking about this
They
poor
were. I
person just
felt
got
s-
embarrassed.
I'm surprised I didn't cry.
Yeah, you could have said like nunchucks, and everyone would have just started dying laughing because someone's just looking to break the tension
I
at that
know.
point. Yeah.
I felt like she was a little annoyed though until I said that.
What did you say? Say it again. What was it?
Too hard for shorties.
Oh, that's like what a joke. How was your flight home? You're fresh off an airplane.
Was good. I slept for a lot of it, and then I
good.
worked for the rest of it, and so it was very productive and good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Did you have any dreams that you remember on the flight?
I do think I had some dreams, but I don't remember them.
Okay.
This is a ding, ding, ding. I had a dream that you emailed an email to me, Rob, and Emma
Okay. Here we go.
about an episode, and you were like, "Oh, this was a great episode, good edit." But and then you had some stuff to like fix or something, and but I didn't know that was a dream. So like a couple of days ago, I texted Emma and I was like, "What was that email that Dax sent?" I was like, "What do we need to? Wasn't there something we need to fix?"
Your waking time and your dream time are colliding.
Completely. She was like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You probably sent her scrambling, like, oh shit, I forgot this thing.
Well, yeah, I know. And then I was like, maybe it's possible I was dreaming that.
Mm-hmm.
My life and my sleep are all connected.
There's no barrier anymore between.
These are some of the things that make me feel like maybe I'm actually in a mental hospital.
Or sim.
Well, we know about that, but sometimes I'm worried that I'm actually in a mental hospital.
Yeah, like that. There was a movie, Punch.
Punch Drunk Love?
Nope.
Patch Adams.
No, it was by the guy who.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo.
Oh, just everyone stop for 1 second. He's a really cool director.
Inception. Shutter Island.
No, stop. You're not helping, and you're way off base. You're not even going to get anywhere close to it. He's got tons of tattoos. This director. He directed a couple of the Batmans. Not Nolan. Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder.
Great.
And he directed a movie called Punch Something about girls in an insane asylum who thought they were burlesque dancers in their kind of fantasy world.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch.
Okay.
Sucker Punch.
See, that was tricky because Rob was supposed to look that up,
But also shut up.
but also not talk. It was a
No,
little
I
confusing.
was
wait,
jumping
though.
the gun a little
You
bit.
were.
You're off to the races. You're like, Bad News Browns.
I know.
Boys in the Hood.
It's my favorite thing
Psycho.
to guess movies, though.
Apparently, we just learned this. We should come up with some kind of game we can play where Rob's free to guess movies really rapid fire.
Okay, I mean, we could make up the game right now. Say one little plot point of a movie.
Oh, gosh. Okay, but before we do that, can we just say that there's a really fun improv game, as you know, where you say a word and then someone has to say another word following it, but it can't relate at all to it. So I would say, like,
Oh, I actually don't know. that.
Twitter, and then you would say styrofoam.
Oh, okay. I was going to
Like-
say mall. Does it?
Oh, okay, that
Is it
would work.
okay? Mm-hmm. Okay.
The thing is, you're trying to break yourself from just following the trigger of the word, right? So it's
Okay,
just
let's
kind of like a
practice.
mental exercise.
Let's
Okay,
practice.
couch cushions,
Meatball.
flamingos.
Oh no, I almost said couch cushions.
Yeah,
But I just
It's
got
harder
off
than
the
you'd think.
airplane.
The point is Rob had stumbled into that game on his own.
They were all mental hospital movies, and I said,
Okay,
Cuckoo's Nest. No one said Cuckoo's Nest.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that made
Shutter
that was,
Island
Oh,
was.
my
too.
brain.
Yeah. Okay, so you were on a theme. I
Shutter
take it back.
Island, I have been thinking I want to rewatch.
Oh yeah, well, Scorsese,
I
Leonardo
loved that
DiCaprio.
movie.
It's a good one.
Very creepy.
He's not made a bad movie. He's made some that are much better than others,
Yeah.
but no stinkers really. Now, there's one I haven't seen, so I shouldn't say that across the board.
Which
I don't
one?
think I ever saw. Very ironic because I love Nicolas Cage too. I never saw the ambulance movie that Scorsese did with Nick Cage as a ambulance driver.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah.
I didn't see it either.
There you go.
honestly. I haven't seen all his movies though.
Bringing Out the Dead.
There you go.
Okay. This has turned into a real movie heavy fact check.
Did you watch any TV or movies while you were on your trip? Because I watched a bunch.
Yes.
What'd you watch?
I watched the Selena Gomez documentary.
Oh, I gotta see that.
Yes. I really like her. I've
Yeah,
always liked her.
She's the best.
I felt like a Gen Z because I was like on it. I saw it the day it came out.
Oh, cool.
And then I bought some of her makeup.
Oh my God! In a response to liking the
Kind
doc
of,
so
I
well,
think.
wow. Do you think I would buy some makeup after I?
You should. She makes good makeup, rare beauty.
Okay.
Well, you know, when I'm
Makeups.
home, my mom's really into makeup.
I didn't know that.
Oh,
I knew
yes.
she was into watering plants.
Yes,
She leaves buckets of water all over the property.
I know. But she also, she loves YouTube.
Yeah.
So part of
and she loves trials like Amber Heard.
also,
Yeah.
this was so
Remember how
funny.
much she loved that?
Yeah. Now she's acting holier than that. Like she's like, people are still into this trial.
Oh, cool. she's like,
Mom.
she's OT, original trial.
She's like, I don't get it. It's
Oh,
like it's
wow.
over.
I like this.
No.
Yeah, she still wants to feel popular and on fat, off of fat. Yeah, she's BDDT. Been there, done that.
wow.
Watched that trial months ago. Okay,
it
so
was months.
Selena Gomez, high recommendation.
Yes, it's a very, very vulnerable documentary.
Oh, good.
I think she started the doc, which these are my favorite docs, when it starts as something but then takes a turn.
Oh, right.
So I think it started as a doc following her tour of her last thing.
Sure.
But then it became like a mental health
Oh, wonderful.
story. And then I watched finally the Matthew Perry Dateline. And that's a ding, ding, ding.
Okay, so
We got to not Dateline. What the fuck? Matthew
Diane
Perry.
Sawyer.
Yes.
Yeah, Dee Sawyer. She's still raging. She's still kicking ass and
She
taking
is.
names. Yeah, if you're going to go somewhere for a tell-all, you go see Diane.
No, you come here.
Okay, but if you're in the podcast realm, but if you're going to go on TV, Dee Sawyer's, that's a good place to take it.
You know, he was going to come on here.
What happened? People need to hear that because people obviously want us to have him on. I've seen a total outcry of people saying you need to interview Matthew Perry.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've tried. And,
It almost happened and then it
didn't.
didn't.
Yeah, which I think is a blessing and a curse.
I wonder how it would have gone.
Yeah, me too. Because I've known him in sobriety. I mean, he's honest about being sober, so
Yeah.
I don't mind saying that.
Yeah.
So I've known him over the years in sobriety. And so, I think what occurred to me is like, I just couldn't have the same talk that Diane Sawyer's having just because I'm so on the inside of it. It just wouldn't be like that. Nothing's better or worse.
100%. It was really interesting because he uses the same language you do, which a lot of people in AA do. It's a shared vocabulary, which I
Yeah.
totally get. But he's explaining it in a way that you normally explain it.
Right.
But if we're here, that part can't happen or won't happen or will be different because there's nothing to explain.
Yes. The layer I would add, I guess you got a taste of it when we interviewed Max Greenfield.
Yeah.
We talk to each other in a very specific way. I would argue in the way that like soldiers talk to each other about someone that just got killed. You wouldn't like hearing how they talk about it. There's a brashness to it or something. But I would not be able to not communicate with him in the way I would another dude trying to get sober or in sobriety. It would just be,
I think that would be good though.
yeah, I just wondered it would be different.
Yeah. I mean,
Some of the stuff I would just be like, that's crazy. I never, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
there would be probably a little more pressure testing of
yes,
both of us.
I think so. Yeah.
Like I would just have to say to him, like, you have a house in Mexico.
And that's bad.
An addict can't have a house in Mexico. Like, do you still have a house in Mexico?
Maybe he doesn't go there anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But this would just be a question of mine. It's like, once I heard, oh, there's an addict who spends a lot of his time in Mexico, that's just not gonna, you can't live across the street from a pharmacy that sells everything
No.
if your problem is pills.
No. So
there's some questions like that, right? That
Yeah.
like that I would need to know where we're at on the house in Mexico.
well, it's tricky though because you saw it, so you know. But when he talks about the support system, I do think that's so important because you have people in your life telling you absolutely are not doing that.
Taking a solo trip down to Mexico.
You're not doing it.
Yeah,
And
yep.
you're not doing it. So if he doesn't have that, I could see, everyone does this, but addicts especially, I think, find justification anywhere they can find justification. I mean, that's the disease.
It's really tricky though, right? Because I was single and sober.
Yeah.
It can almost be more dangerous in some ways. In some ways, it's great to have a support system. In other ways, you can start turning over your own responsibility, which is like, as long as these people don't know, or as long as these people, if it becomes about those people, you're fucked.
But it's also about losing those people,
I just think for me, something like when I was living on my own for a year and a half and I was sober, I guess it was because when I met Kristen, I had 3 years. So it was from a year and a half to 3 years, I lived on my own. I traveled all over doing movies, never crossed my mind, none of it. My first thought once I was taking opiates was, no one can know about this.
Yeah.
Like the main focus became no one can know about this. When I was by myself, that layer doesn't even exist. So that now a focus of mine wouldn't have been relevant. It had just been all about me. At some point, it transferred a little bit to the people around me once I was getting less and less maybe committed to it. It really then just became more about everyone around me.
Yeah.
And just for me, that wasn't the great. I got to stay sober for me.
Totally.
And I kind of stopped saying sober for me.
That makes sense.
And that's personal. Like, I'm not saying that's everyone, but I just, in some ways, I'd be more afraid as a single man to go buy a house in Mexico than I would be a married man. I would do that in marriage. I wouldn't have done that single. Because I'd be like, oh, I'll be in Mexico with my family. What am I going to go get
Right.
fucked up at a pharmacy with my family? No, I have a safety net. I would just
that's-
know as an addict on my own, you can't, Dax, you've lost your right to own a house in Mexico.
Yeah.
For me personally.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know the deal with that. I don't know if he still has it or if who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe he had a house in Mexico and he never went to a pharmacy.
Yeah.
I have no clue what was going on with him.
Yeah.
I think because, again, it's kind of like you lose enough friends in battle. The first few are quite shocking. The rest become decreasingly as shocking. So I've just known so many people over the last 20 years try to get sober and not do it and get sober and go back and forth. I don't have the kind of sadness for him that I think America has and should. He has a fucking bad disease and among anyone else has been the victim of the disease. It's not like he's destroyed other people's lives. He's destroyed his.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it definitely warrants sympathy.
Yeah.
It's very sad. But again, on the other side of it, we just don't really have that sympathy for each other. You know, it's much more limited.
Yeah, I understand. But I mean, it also when he was saying a lot of the tenets and stuff, I was like, yeah, that's the same thing.
Yeah.
And it was sad. And I got triggered. But
Any triggers you want to talk about publicly, or they would be mean?
no, I just felt scared for the addicts in my life.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry that I make you scared.
No, it's not. It's fine.
No, I am.
Thank you.
Do you want to know what I watched?
What'd you watch?
First of all, White Lotus is back. It's so fucking good.
I love it.
Oh, like to switch casts, to switch locations,
Yes.
and to land running at the same velocity they left with is so impressive.
Yes.
Hats off to Mike White. And we're only 2 episodes in. I'm locked.
I know.
I'm like locked.
What about the part where that Italian girl sang at the piano?
Oh wow!
I
I loved it.
I
Did you-
loved
Oh, good.
it.
I was nervous you didn't like the look on her face when she was singing or something.
No,
like it got
I loved
triggered.
it. I watched it like 40 times.
Oh, I should rewatch it a few times. It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
I know.
Yeah.
I wanted to sing like that. I practiced a little.
You did? Oh, cool.
But my parents are in the house, so I have to sing really quiet.
What was the volume of that? That quiet.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I can't really get my breath right.
Yeah.
it doesn't sound
Well, you're out of shape. You haven't trained your instrument in a long time.
No, you can't do it that quiet.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
Speaking of instruments, I ran into a nice armchairy.
Okay.
She works at Duluth High School or middle school and is the band director.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and she's
Probably
an
the high
armchairy.
school.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, other stuff I watched.
Yeah.
Ken Burns' Civil War,
Oh.
Georgia football game.
Wow,
You know
ding,
about
ding,
that.
ding. Oh, you watched that. I thought you were equating the Georgia football game to the Civil War, which there are threads.
Sure. That is it's not too far from some
Yeah.
battle sites. and
Yeah.
whatnot. And then I watched 2 great documentaries. I think I told you about. One this was tailor-made for me. I mean, how embarrassing. About a female bodybuilder
Sure.
who shot her male bodybuilder husband. So you have 2 big musclehead Goliaths in the
Wow.
80s, like peak when you want to be a bodybuilder. Yeah, and it was a good job, this documentary. It did a good job of like, you feel bad for her, you want her to kill the guy because he's physically abusive, but then you find out she's really violent to a lot of other people, and it just gets more and more complicated, which I like.
Sure.
Then I watched one, it was about the Murdaws. The Murdos. It's like
Murdochs?
Murdoch. It's like Murdoch, but at the end it's GH. It's not.
Oh, okay.
And it's this family from South Carolina that they were the district attorney for like 5 generations.
Oh,
So it's a
wow.
for real one of these old like Southern town, good old boy network, power just passed on generation to generation. One of the families there's a murder, then there's another murder.
There's a
and
Murdo?
the whole, yes, the Murdo after Murdo. And it's the cover-ups and all the strings being pulled to prevent them from going to justice. It's
wow.
a wild ride. Yeah, that was a great one. That one's on HBO, I believe.
Low Country.
Low Country. Really good. Low Country.
Ding, ding, ding. Another thing I watched,
Okay.
the election.
Oh, you watched that?
We watched the
coverage?
election last night. Well,
The whole
some of it.
family. Yeah.
Yeah, not all of it, obviously, because it's not even done yet.
You and the family were glued to the election coverage.
We watched some coverage.
How many hours would you say?
Well, it's hard to say. It was on in the background,
BG.
and then pop back in, pay attention, pop out.
Generally, your dad would notice something and make an announcement.
My dad actually checked out for a lot of it.
Wow, what was he doing?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it stresses him out.
Oh, okay.
So he checks back in and it's like, what's going on? And then, because the Senate race in Georgia is a big race, and it felt like pretty obvious that Herschel Walker was going to lose.
Oh, we're going into it.
Yeah. And it's tied, and it's going to go to a runoff.
Right, runoff. I read that.
And
And then the hillbilly elegy guy won.
JD Vance, I know. I know.
All because of you. I blame you.
No,
yeah,
I'm
you were
gonna-
defending him. You're the reason. You're the
Don't,
total
I'm gonna
reason.
kill myself. No, I'm not.
You're defending him.
Before, not when he started running and being a crazy Trumper.
Yeah, he was always that guy.
I
That's
guess
the
he
point.
was.
Yeah.
I've thought it a lot, obviously. I've told you. I've already
I
conceded. Look at you
know.
rubbing my nose.
I
in
would have
this.
never, other than just it was a layup to be able to blame you for it. It's just right there.
I just want to
People
believe
might even write in like, "Why don't you
people.
blame Monica?" That was a perfect time to blame her for him getting elected.
Okay, so John Stamos. Oh, ding, ding, ding! I'm wearing the row pants.
Oh,
Ding, ding, ding! John Stamos.
ding, ding, ding. We never really got any conclusive feedback from when I said I had dated Ashley and he got down on the ground. That was curious. I don't know how to interpret.
He
what,
said he just didn't know that.
right, but he got all the way down on the ground. He
It shocked him to its
it
core,
shook
his
it,
core.
right, and that begs the question: like, what aspect was so shaking or shooking?
I think maybe he thought he would know. I don't know.
Yeah, there's something there. There was something there. It's still a question mark for me with that.
I don't think he's
Was-
in love with them.
I don't know that that's not my conclusion per
Okay.
se.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe he is.
Who knows?
I am.
Yeah.
So I get it. But I wish she was up there, next
The
to
photo?
you, next to you in the picture.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's not. It's a split frame with Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, I know. And Amy Winehouse makes me sad. So I wish
The whole thing is not an uplifting thing. It's like
I know, it's
everyone
so-
in America hates us. That's what this poll was. The vast majority of Americans. It's hard to get Americans to agree to anything at 72%.
Yeah.
It's really almost impossible.
Well, that's
like
not
you guys
America.
want clean water. Couldn't get it to 72%.
Right.
No, this poll happened in America.
Well, I know, but between like 4 people.
That worked at the magazine.
Yes. Another thing we learned from this election: don't trust polls.
That's been obvious for some time now.
I agree, but
Yeah.
definitely this time.
Well, one thing I read today that was interesting is part of the reason those polls don't mean anything anymore is that those polls really were good at assessing how many swing voters there were. There are none anymore. Nobody is on the fence about anything. Everyone is rooted in their camp more than ever before. So that's why well, at least that's what the New York Times was saying.
Interesting.
That's one of the takeaways is just there's no swing voters anymore.
Well, ish. In some ways, I feel like a lot of states have now become swing, like Georgia, because there are these extremes. Some people now don't know what to do, so it's becoming
well,
more,
definitely those. Yeah, there's some states
Purple
now
states.
that like there's so many that are given.
yeah.
Right. You know what Connecticut, New York, and California are going to vote.
Mm-hmm.
It's a given. You know what Texas is going to vote. You know what Louisiana is going to vote. Now, yeah, there's some swing state. You don't really know what Georgia's going to do. Pennsylvania is now,
Yeah, Pennsylvania went blue.
All to say, though, that the voters within those states aren't being swayed by any commercials or anything or any speeches. They are right or left,
Yeah, but yeah.
which I find to be disheartening.
Yeah. Okay, John. So he mentioned that Howard called him and he was worried that Ralph died, but then you said we got to talk about Ralph, but then we never talked about Ralph, and I don't know who Ralph is.
Ralph's a very interesting character in the Stern megaverse.
Okay.
He started as, I guess, maybe an intern on the show. Howard really liked him. He would party too hard at events.
Okay.
There's always stories about him. He was always kind of embarrassing himself or other people.
Okay.
Very likable personality.
Yeah.
Young, stylish. He kind of became Howard's best friend. And
Oh.
then long after I don't know if he got fired or he quit working at the show or whatever the thing was, Ralph has been Howard's stylist for the last
Oh my God.
however many years. Also,
Wow.
Ralph, and he's a polarizing character because he's not on the show anymore. But anytime he calls, he gets put through because he's Howard's good friend. And he always knows how to stir the pot and piss all the guys off that still work there. So he gets a lot of airtime despite the fact he doesn't work there. So some listeners hate that.
Yeah.
Some like it.
Okay.
And for some reason, Stamos and he became great friends.
Oh, they did.
And so many of the stories that make it onto the show are about Ralph is in California hanging with Stamos, or Ralph is here
I
or
see.
there. Yeah.
That's really funny. Okay. That is solved. Okay, so he mentioned this organization that his wife is involved in. Ding, ding, ding. Politics. He said 5% of Democrat women in politics have kids. There's a whole map. It is kind of interesting. 7 states have even half the number of moms that are needed for full representation, and 23 states have less than a quarter.
I don't really know that I understand what this is. What are we saying?
Okay, so I think he's talking about the amount of women
People holding public office with children?
Exactly. Women.
Okay.
I mean, men, there are many,
Oh,
obviously.
they all got kids.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So when I was editing, he said something and I said, oh, we cut it out a lot. Oh, he went to the bathroom and then he was like, I've never heard someone go to the bathroom before. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, some people do. And we cut it out a lot. And then I didn't even catch that I said, cut it out.
Is that one of the catchphrases?
Cut it out. Yeah.
Wait, that's
Cut
from...
it out. It's from Full House.
It is?
Yes.
Who says that? The Olsen twins?
No.
They say, you got it, man.
You got it, dude.
Dude, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Cut it out is Uncle Joey.
Oh, that's his thing.
Yeah.
And he mimes scissors?
Mime scissors, cut, and then in for
Okay,
it.
it. That's
and then-
weird.
Well, that's just some.
Yeah,
you do
he's
it fast.
filler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cut it
it.
out. You do a out.
Oh,
with
you
your
don't
thumb.
think this means in.
No, cut.
Oh, cut it. Oh, thank
Yeah.
God. Okay.
Maybe I made that part up,
Okay.
but I think that's what I do.
But it's a catchphrase. Cut it out.
Yeah, it's
my
very
God.
popular. They all had catchphrases. Cut it out. He had have mercy. Twins had you got it, dude.
You know, I have this already, like, when I'm filming normally and I've already made the scripted joke 3 times, that's about I start feeling fraudulent after the 4th take. Like getting laughs after the same joke. I don't like it. So I that's what drives me to come up with a new one.
Oh.
So I would think initially I would be so against a catchphrase.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, it's so lazy. I'm not even making a new joke. But then I bet it'd be so fun to be able to say these just 3 words and the audience
They
goes,
love
banana.
it.
We love catchphrases.
Love it.
You just got to embrace it and learn to love your catchphrase.
Well, remember he said when he was at Disney and he was epcotting, he started to resort to saying, have mercy.
Oh, right, which I didn't understand, but you did.
Yeah, of course.
I gave Delta a catchphrase the other day. Is she giving it to you yet?
Oh, no, not you told me, but
Okay.
no.
So I always say that she has a big old watermelon head, right? When we're laying in bed. So does your neck hurt with that big old head on your shoulders? Blah, blah, blah. Watermelon woman. And you already know this. Don't mess with watermelon woman or you'll get the seeds. She's been giving people the seeds.
Right, and
She's a
she's
villain.
fisting, yeah.
Yeah, she goes, you mess with watermelon woman, you get the seeds.
Yeah, that's
And she
scary.
really gives it to you.
Yeah.
And you're scared to get the seeds.
I'm scared.
And every now and then when she blows up at one, she blows her stack all the time, Delta. You've seen it.
Yeah.
So she'll dress Kristen and Lincoln down and the other, hey, I'm trying to go to sleep. You go to sleep. Everyone be quiet over there. And I'll go, oh, you guys just got the seeds.
Ooh,
and
yeah.
then we'll all laugh.
Yeah.
'Cause she gives out the seeds kind of a lot.
Yeah, that's good. That's another tension breaker, kind of like
Shorty's got no business traveling.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. I forget.
Okay.
That's it. Oh, and I have my doll. I put my doll up. You know, he gave me a doll.
Oh, yeah. That I thought looked like Emilio Estevez.
Yes.
And it's what, in your apartment now on display?
It's
Prominently displayed?
It's in my
Hope chest?
Bathroom.
what's this called?
Vestibule?
Well,
Armoire?
charades. Yes.
Armoire.
Good job,
Good job.
Rob. Good charades. Armoire.
Armoire. Okay, great. I thought of another thing I saw that I highly recommend.
Okay.
I don't know the name of it though, Rob. You're gonna have to help me. Something, darling.
Don't worry, darling.
Don't worry, darling.
Yeah.
Watched it last night.
I started it.
You did. Mm-hmm. How far in are you?
Not that
Half
far.
hour, 20 minutes, 15, 1
4 or
hour?
5 minutes.
Okay, we're just making the title sequence.
No, I watched like 45 minutes. I was really liking it.
I loved it.
Do you know about all the
Don't
drama?
worry. What is it? Don't worry, darling.
Don't worry, darling.
Don't worry, darling. Tell me the drama. I know nothing about the drama.
Oh my God, you're living under a little baby rock.
Yeah. What am I missing?
Oh, it was so dramatic, that press tour, and then there was a
Why?
whole
Shia
thing
LaBeouf.
about Shia LaBeouf.
What happened? What?
Originally Shia LaBeouf was supposed to play the
Harry-
Harry Styles
Harold
character.
Styles. Okay. I think when he's acting, he goes by Harold Styles.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Harold Styles character. And
Oh, well, that was originally Shia.
yeah, he was cast.
Okay.
And then she said she fired him. But
Okay.
then like some tape came out of her like he obviously didn't get fired. He quit.
Okay.
And she was like kind of begging him to come back.
Oh.
And she kept calling Florence Pugh Miss Flo. I don't know.
What's that mean? Is that good or bad?
That I think.
Why? Does that mean, is that a period joke?
Well, it does sound like
She's incredible in the movie, by the way.
Florence Pugh.
I didn't know about her.
Yeah, she's great.
This
She's
was
like a new Scarlet.
Yes,
Yeah.
but this was a full awakening for me. I find her to be very, very interesting to watch.
She is, yeah.
Solid fucking actor.
She has great style too.
Oh, she does. She was dating Dax Shepard for 3 years. I found out.
Really?
Yes, I just found this out last night.
Oh my god.
Mesmerizing.
Yeah, she was
She
in
has
that
good style.
Stephen Merchant movie, Fighting with My
She-
Family, and then Midsummer, which was the horror one where
Fighting with My Family, that's when he came on here.
Also,
Yeah.
Lady. Yes, also Lady Macbeth.
Yeah.
Do you say Macbeth or do you say the Scottish play?
What? I say Macbeth.
Okay, great.
Yeah, no, I don't
I had
do
a
that.
little dust up last night with Kristen about it. So I was like, I want to know about this girl. Look her up, see what she's been in. And she goes, oh yeah, and she was in the Scottish play. And I go, well, that's what we're doing. Like, it's just us.
Do it.
I'm like, what are we really superstitious about this?
She is. She comes from the theater. So do I.
Well, that's why I asked you
I
if
kn-
you say it.
I know, but her theater was more
important.
No.
What?
It was
What
more,
do you want me to say?
Don't say anything.
Okay.
You don't have to say anything. My God. It was more high class.
Oh, that sounds much
It's fine if I
kinder.
say it.
Much kinder what you said.
It's kind if I say it.
Okay.
If you're putting me down, it's not cool.
I wasn't
This is,
putting
like,
you
obvious.
down. I wasn't putting you down. I was not.
Macbeth.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not going to say it now, too, because now I want to be high class.
Highfalutin too.
Yeah.
All right. Great.
Scottish play.
Rob, are you joining them, or are we going to still say Macbeth?
I like Macbeth.
Yeah, it
Rob
sounds
is not
cool.
from the theater.
Yeah, I don't even understand the reference.
Theater. Yeah, you're not. Apparently, when people died, historically, people have died while doing
It's like a
Macbeth.
bad luck.
It's a bad luck thing to call. So everyone's got to act like they're putting on Macbeth, and then none of them ever say they are. They're
they
saying
just-
they're in the Scottish play.
Didn't the Coen brothers do a Macbeth movie too?
They're dead
called
now.
Macbeth?
Yeah, you didn't hear they're all dead. Is there more gossip about?
Yeah, there was all kinds of gossip. And then on the press tour, like,
Spit.
they weren't
What?
talking to each
Who
other,
was
and
it?
someone spit at each
Whoa, who wasn't talking?
Chris Pine and Harry Styles.
They don't get along.
Look, there's also a huge rumor that none of this is real and that they drummed up all of this press to get
Us to talk about it.
Exactly.
But I'm talking about just on the merit of the movie. They should have, if that was
the
the
movie's
case.
good enough, so I don't
It's
know why they
great.
needed to do any of this if they did.
Oh, but give me the details because I don't know them. So apparently someone
That's
spit
kind
it.
of stupid.
It's
I mean,
pretty
it's kind of
stupid. Yeah, there's like a video of them, and it looks like he spit on Harry Styles.
But it's fake, you think?
It could go either way.
who knows. And then
Were they having a
they're doing
verbal-
interviews and they're just like not talking. And then apparently someone has to sit in the middle of them. Also, Nick Kroll, everyone kissed each other. Nick Kroll's in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know, you saw it. So,
I just don't know about the gossip. I know about. I
yeah,
saw the
this
movie.
is all the gossip.
What happened with Nick Kroll? What's he doing?
Someone kissed him. One of the other men. I don't know. I don't know. There was just
in the movie there was a kiss.
it was riddled with.
Makes me want
drama.
to read about it now.
But then now there's stuff about that being all misogynist, but I haven't read it. I don't know.
I purposely stopped after.
Me too.
the
It was
spitting
getting
thing.
out of hand.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I missed this whole thing.
Yeah, even though
very
she-
sexy scenes. Did you see him go down on
I
her
did,
on
yeah.
the table?
Yeah, it was hot.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it was hot.
Whoa. She was just throwing dishes off.
I know.
Oh wow.
Okay, relax.
Oh, wow.
Remember, she's 26.
Not in the movie. She was 31 in the
No,
movie.
she wasn't.
I don't know what she was. I don't know what she was playing in the movie.
She did another movie with Chris Pine too, Outlaw King.
Oh.
That was the one where they showed his penis for
Well,
like
here we go again. With
8 minutes.
all the movies.
Really?
It was like way too long.
Wait,
Do you think it was
what?
prosthetic or real?
I think it was real. It was just him like
you know you
being
wanna
What's
see
the
it,
movie
right?
called?
Yeah, what's it called again?
Outlaw King.
Did
I
you-
think it originally was like this really long, gratuitous, just his penis for a while. I think they cut it down
To 8 minutes of penis.
from 8 to like
Oh.
2 or 3 minutes.
And
He's
without
hot.
using any judgment words,
How'd it look?
I don't remember.
describe his penis to me.
I don't remember.
To
You
us,
have to. There's been a
us.
crime, and if you don't identify this penis,
It was
then
hair.
this
It's
person,
a like medieval movie, so it was hairy,
very
and
hairy.
Oh,
Okay,
they added hair.
dirty.
it had some
he was
mud
bathing
on
it.
it and stuff.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
I think it was
UTI.
decent size.
It had to have been. He's not going to show it if it's not.
Well, it could be prosthetic though. So many of these ones are prosthetic.
Well, then exactly. Then whatever they showed was probably big, whether it was prosthetic or not.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
well, it was really exciting. I love my doll. It was very nostalgic and cool to have.
One of your folks. You're just clicking through all your TV heroes from your childhood.
Speaking of,
What
we
now?
have to address super quick the video I sent you on Instagram of my boyfriend. Holy shit!
Oh my God. I repeated that.
Matt Damon.
Oh,
Have you seen this?
You got divorced?
No. He turned down Avatar.
And
And not only Avatar, 10% of Avatar.
James Cameron on the phone offered him 10% of Avatar.
What did
And
he
he
film
turned
this?
it down.
$300 million.
And
he turned the movie down and walked away unknowingly,
Exactly.
unwittingly,
Exactly.
from $300 million.
Oh, the original, not the new one.
The
Correct,
original.
the original one. But he
before
would have been
Avatar.
locked into 3 more
Yeah.
that are going to generate another $6 billion. I mean, this is literally like could end up end of life total of $1 billion. No. How bad could it be? Also, James Cameron, he's only directed incredible masterpieces.
I know.
Like he's
I
got
don't know why he
Titanic,
did
he's got
that.
Terminator 2, Terminator 1.
He must
The
have
Abyss,
been-
one of the best aliens. Like this is one of the best fucking directors ever.
He must have been tied to another like it must have been there must have been a reason and he wanted
need
to
him-
do
get
the
him-
right thing.
First of all, I was jealous he didn't say that on this show.
Me
But of course, we didn't
too.
ask him, so it's our fault.
I know.
That's
but
such a
I
good
was,
question.
I
I
was
should
Start
mad.
asking that.
It never even occurred to me. Like when we have real A-listers like Tom Hanks, these
Yeah.
people we should ask them what they've turned
you've turned down.
Yes, it's such a good story.
I know, but a lot of people ask that. It feels generic.
Here's my guess.
Okay.
James Cameron, to me, he is a master's master. He is such a good filmmaker.
Oh,
it's crazy.
yeah.
With that said, his dialogue is rough. Okay, so if you watch Avatar, which I've done repeatedly, it's one of the most highly rewatchable movies. I encourage everyone to do it. It's a flawless movie.
Yeah.
The movie's so good that it's shocking the dialogue doesn't stand out as terrible. It's so right up the middle, generic, move the story forward. There's no flair, there's nothing. The last time I was watching it, because it was on my 6th viewing of it, I'm like, this dialogue, and on paper, there's nothing there.
But is that because they're speaking Navi?
No. They walk in, they're setting up the thing. I don't want to be here. I'm a soldier. You go there, soldier. You boys better get. It's just
But
really.
Titanic had some good lines like, paint me like one of your French girls.
You know, this is what I'll argue. Not a good line. He directs them into being fantastic. So just on paper, you read that as an actress, paint me like one of your French
What
girls.
about Never Let Go, Jack?
Terrible. Never let go, Jake. All of it's I'm the king of the world. Terrible. It's shot in a way that it elevates these really
You're kinda right.
useless throwaway lines. They're almost like placeholders. Fuck, I'm never going to be in a James Cameron movie, and he's not even going to talk to me if he ever hears
No,
this.
don't say that. We might have
But
him
listen,
on.
I did have a lunch with him. Did I tell you this? You know this story.
No.
16 years ago, Tom Arnold's like, you want to go ride motorcycles? Hey, buddy, we're going to ride motorcycles with the governor. You want to come? Yeah, sure. I mean, at the 76 station, PC, click. So I meet at this gas station. By George, there's Arnold Schwarzenegger with the Secret Service detail. We ride motorcycles up to this place you ride to in Malibu, this little restaurant that everyone goes to. James Cameron's in this group. I didn't even realize it. And of course they are. He's directed them in like 4 movies. True Lies, another brilliant fucking movie. And I had been around Schwarzenegger a couple times prior to this, and he's as alpha as it gets. There was a crazy new dynamic at this table with James Cameron there. I was observing that Schwarzenegger has a totally different demeanor around James Cameron. It's really deferential. James Cameron is clearly at that table. We go to war in 10 minutes. He's our general. Wow. That vibe was so clear.
That's cool.
He's telling everyone about this camera technology he had invented for Avatar, which is 3D. And the way 3D has always conventionally worked is you have 2 cameras filming at the same time. They're separated by about whatever it is, a foot. And that's what makes the third dimension. That's what your eyes are doing. If you close one eye, you're basically 2D. You don't have depth perception, right? So that's how it works. Now, what he realized, the reason that 3D cameras prior to his weren't great is that your eyes track an object. And he held his finger out and he said, move your finger close to my face and watch what my eyes do. So as you move your fingers closer and closer, your eyes pivot and they start coming in. So the 3D camera technology at that time wouldn't track an object. So it was 3D for a minute, but then as soon as it would break that plane of overlap, it's no longer actually 3D. So his camera invention for that movie was tracking 3D.
Wow.
And he's explaining this, and I said, "Oh, so you gave those cameras bilateral stereoscopic vision?" And he stopped on a dime. That's exactly what happened. He goes, "Why do you know about bilateral stereoscopic vision?" And I said, "Oh, I majored in anthropology." Then he went off on anthropology, and I think knew more than I did about anthropology.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, this guy is one of these people. He's one of the smartest people in the world.
Yeah.
He's inventing solar technology. He's directing the 2 of the biggest movies ever made.
Yeah.
What a phenom this guy is.
But he's a shitty writer.
He's
according
not
to
a
you.
very good dialogue writer. He could do a lot better.
No, we love him. I love dialogue. I love Titanic.
Right. This goes all the way to, and we'd have to ask him.
Yeah.
I bet he read this. It was like, this is not good.
oh,
Because you
Matt
can't
Damon.
see it.
Exactly.
It's not, he doesn't know what we're all about to see. That was a paradigm break. That was a whole new
It
era.
could have gone really badly.
All that's on the page probably is like, they frolic through the forest. He puts
Blue
his tail,
people.
blue people, puts his tail and her tail, and they're making
Yeah,
love.
it
He's like,
doesn't
what is
sound good.
this?
Yeah.
And then this dialogue.
And like Steven Soderbergh probably is offering him something much
Juicy.
more normal.
Well, he had just put out Departed, Ocean's 13, and Born Ultimatum right when they started filming Avatar.
He has his pick
He
of
is
the
so
litter.
good.
Oh, what a sex man. I'm going to fillet him on a table.
No,
Yeah, why?
I want to.
I know. We're both going to do.
Oh, it's taking turns?
You're getting very stingy now and jealous.
I mean,
Share. Wow, you'd be jealous if I filleted Matt Damon.
of course.
Oh, wow.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. It's abstract. I
Of course
think.
I would. Mainly because
What's
of like
the
the
exact
intimacy.
analogy?
It's like I want that, you know?
But I guess, like, if
It's not really about the
we have to pick
filleting.
somebody, I don't want to trigger anything, but let's just pick a random person. It's a very popular actress.
Just don't say her name.
I just said a very popular
great.
actress. There's a very popular actress. She comes in.
Yeah.
Rob goes down on her, or you go down on her. You with me?
Yeah.
I'm far more. Now, mind you, this very popular actress is declared straight.
Right.
I'm liable to get jealous of Rob.
Right.
I'm not going to get jealous of you.
Well, I'm jealous of if Rob does it as well. It's just anyone who's not me.
You don't want his dick in anyone's mouth but yours.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay, that's
no,
a
this
solid
isn't
point.
right because he
This
has a
isn't right.
beautiful family.
No, in this scenario where we're both filleting him on a table, like I don't fillet
He's-
dudes either.
Everyone died except
We've
killed
leaped
his
the
family.
logical barrier that I suck dudes' dicks. That's fine that we've leaped, but we can't leap the fact that he's
I
married.
just don't want to disrespect her. I like her
Yes,
in
she's
theory.
not. She asked us to do this.
Okay.
Okay.
And there- and
but
the-
these are all the things. I blow dudes.
and the
That's-
kids said also it was fine.
Kids can't wait to high five dad for the group filleting he received at a,
Here's the truth.
Okay.
I don't think I'd be good in a group situation.
yeah. Unless it was 2 dudes and you.
Right.
Yeah.
Two specific
fine with
dudes
that.
and you.
Yeah, but of course, I think a lot of people could probably relate to that because
Yeah.
there's jealousy. Is anyone interested in me in that? And if they're not, then I feel horrible about myself.
Of course.
I think that's
Anyone would.
normal.
Yeah. If you detected that you were the least desirable of the
Yeah.
2. You know, I think because I'm a guy. Well, I've been in
Threesomes.
in a situation with me and another guy. One I can't say. Then one Aaron,
Yeah.
who I love so much, right? So it's like I already don't get jealous of Aaron.
But are you guys just waiting while the other person does stuff?
No, wobbly H.
What?
A wobbly H.
I don't know what that is.
Well, you can picture what an H is, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of wobbly.
Oh, I see. But the whole time is that?
Well, then you're switching around, and
But
then,
is there ever a time where you have to just like wait?
no,
Really?
no, you're making out with the girl, or
But do you accident? What if you
Tits or-
accidentally suck Aaron's dick?
you couldn't accidentally suck a dick. I don't. It'd have to be so pitch black.
Your eyes have to be so open during these things.
There was no that never. It didn't even feel like a potential risk,
Okay.
and nor did it ever present itself as anything
Okay.
resembling a risk. When we were at Country Boy, our favorite place to get coffee, and chit chatting, and next thing you know, we're at Aaron's house.
No, at coffee is morning time.
No, it was evening. We used to go because I was sober in high school. So what we would do is we would stay at this one restaurant, Country Boy, and we'd drink about 6,000 cups of coffee and smoke 12 packs of cigarettes
At
and
night?
shoot the shit. Yeah.
I'm just not understanding coffee at night.
Yeah.
This is a hurdle.
Me and Carrie, all my group of friends, we
Really?
all would drink. We'd all hang out at Country Boy almost every night and drink coffee late at night. And for some reason, I go right to sleep.
Did Aaron ever fart during your threesomes?
No. I would have loved that. And he would have loved it. And we would have laughed. But
you
that
ever-
would be
did you ever
disrespectful. No, there's no farting in this thing. One thing I
Sometimes
did do,
wobbly.
though.
It seems like wobbly H is something could get loose.
You know what I did do, though?
What?
Which is kind of interesting.
What?
I don't think you'll like this.
Okay.
I, at one point, went and shaved my head in the bathroom.
In the middle.
During the three-way?
Yeah, it's like we had been doing all that for a while, and then I think I maybe had finished, and then Aaron was still in the saddle. And then I saw myself out, and then I was in the bathroom, and I was like, oh, I got some time to kill. And then I shaved my head, and then I came back in the room, and I had a new haircut. That was interesting development.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems
What's it seem like?
like psychotic.
Well, I
Like,
was
it
always
seems-
giving myself
it
mohawks
seems-
and stuff.
No,
it was very
I-
on brand with what I did.
It seems like Britney Spears. Like, it seems scary to me.
Oh, well, it wasn't down to the skin. It was like on a number 2 guard.
No, I don't. I just mean like when someone is just like, I have to get rid of this. Like,
Oh yeah,
something's
no,
going
I've
on.
Been, I've been like knowing I was going to shave my head soon,
Right.
and then I had some time to kill, and the clippers were there on
Okay.
display in the bathroom, and then I just got it done.
Interesting.
Tableau.
What is anthropologically?
Yeah.
What is sexy about it? Because that it's deviant.
Ooh, maybe. Yeah, you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really sexy to see a woman experience a ton of pleasure.
But that you're not responsible for, though.
Well, I am. I'm
Well,
in the
half-
mix.
half.
And this woman has kind of, it's more that I think she broke the social taboo and that she's so horny she wants 2 lovers at once.
Yeah. No, I get that. But like, does he ever touch your hair?
No, there's no.
So that they get
I
you-
just don't see how there can't be just a little bit.
But I do think what's interesting is like to get to observe this woman who you're so attractive to in the moment, being very sexual and open and pleased is like makes you horny. It's
Yeah.
just like you're watching this person you're already attracted to get extra horny because there's a novel aspect in the room. She was loving
I
that.
think a little bit of it is seeing her not as yours. Like, oh, she's actually, there's like, the jealousy is actually a component of the horniness. It's like, oh, that person could like, I get to have her. Like seeing it from
well, just
a
look how
voyeuristic.
sexy she is.
Exactly.
You're removed from it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you're watching this person you're super attracted to in a porno.
Rob, are you gonna try it?
No, isn't there? There's probably a humiliation.
I think that's a whole other thing that
Oh,
I can't really wrap my head
humiliation,
around.
yeah.
Yes, but there's a legion of men. It's a well-worn stereotype of the very powerful businessman who goes and does BDSM and is a
Right.
servant or whatever they call him. Submissive.
Yeah.
So there's some people that have so much control in their life, they love being
Totally.
submissive.
Yeah.
And I personally, I can't relate to it, but I feel like the other version that you're talking about overlaps with that somehow. Like they want to be emasculated. Well, how about this? I know that I've seen documentaries about sex workers who have clients that all they want to be is humiliated. They'll make fun of their penis. They'll make fun of all this. And that's a kink for a lot of people. So I do imagine some people want to see their partner have sex with somebody with a huge penis and have it them be humiliated by that as some weird perversion. I think that's out there.
Wow.
I shouldn't even say weird perversion. Like, I sincerely believe this. Like, whatever your sexual desires are totally honky dory.
I think so.
Like,
well, as long as everyone's consenting,
Yeah.
yes. I'm
like if someone
no
wants
animals.
to be humiliated, sure, no
Yeah,
animals.
because they
Well,
can't consent. I think if everyone's consenting and it's all humans, it's fine.
yeah, I mean, I really don't think anything's wrong. Like,
Yeah.
if someone wants to be humiliated and they get off on that,
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't think that's weird. I just think that that's interesting.
I think
That's your kink.
it's off the beaten path. But I don't think it's bad. Unless it turns bad. I mean, I
No,
do
these
think...
we're saying they all turn out good. Everyone's happy at the end of it. Yeah.
Or sad.
I don't
and they
care.
wanna
I
be
don't care
sad.
how you arrive at your happiness.
Well, I do if you're hurting people.
That's a given.
I know. It's not a given. It's
It has
not
to
a
be.
given.
I would never be having a conversation saying that this should be a given.
Okay, well...
Like, I think we live in a world a little crazy. Like, obviously, I'm not saying that if your kink is raping people, like that should be
That
obvious.
is some people's. So
and
you
clearly,
do have
I'm not in support of that.
I know you're not. Can't we just say, what's wrong with just saying it?
Because then let's add all of it. I don't think if your thing is having someone else eat your poop, you should, because that could get bacteria in them and they could get dysentery. Let's
Well,
add that.
yeah.
Let's go do every single thing. It's just like everyone knows I don't think you should put your poop in someone's mouth.
I don't
I'm not
know.
anything that harms anyone. I'm not
Yes.
anything that gets you sick, physically destroys you
Yeah.
in your pursuit of this pleasure. I really should hope everyone that's listening at this stage doesn't need me to say that.
I just don't think there's anything wrong with saying it.
It sounds to me patronizing and pandering.
I think you don't like being told what to do.
No, I honestly think a lot of stuff is really patronizing. I'll give you another example that's way less triggering.
Okay.
I hate when I'm listening to rich podcast hosts talk about things they do, and then they spend 12 minutes apologizing for the fact that they have money. My take is anyone who's listening to you, they know you have money. You don't need to apologize. You're wasting their time, my time, your own time. It's unnecessary.
Well,
It's
yeah.
not on story. Like they're telling a story about they went to Hawaii. And look, I know I'm really privileged that I get to go to Hawaii. I know a lot of people can't go to Hawaii, and okay, 7 minutes later, we're now learning of the story they intended to tell. This is like ubiquitous. I hear it all the time.
Okay, but I think it's self-awareness to say, like, this story I'm about to tell is a ridiculous story. And I know it too, because all this stuff involved is very champagne-y. And it's okay to just acknowledge it and then tell the funny story.
Okay, but if we just work that through, it's like if Letterman tells a story, guess what? I know David Letterman has money. If he says I flew first class, he doesn't have to tell me why he feels bad or blah, blah, blah. It's not, I already know that about David Letterman. He's got money. Oprah's got money.
But you still
Bezos
want-
got money.
Yeah.
So when the other person stops, what I think they want is their cake and eat it too. They want to be able to tell this story, obviously, or they wouldn't be telling it. But they also want to tell it and not have anyone say, oh, this is a fucking rich guy with rich guy problems. So what they really are afraid of is that someone's going to be upset with them that they have money and the person's resentful against them for having money. So they're taking all this energy to try to prevent this one person for having a resentment against them that they have money. And I think that's people pleasing to a point where everyone else is now suffering because no one wants to hear this big disclaimer about how guilty you feel that you went to Hawaii. That's not the story anyone wants to hear.
I don't think it's making anyone suffer to say, and I know that this is a silly problem to have, and then tell your story.
Well, then don't tell it. If it's so silly and it's not a good story because it involves wealth, then don't tell it.
But that's okay. But I'm telling you, if I hear that, I'm not suffering. So you're making that kind of a ubiquitous thing. I think it's fine.
Let's use Huberman as an example. Andrew Huberman.
Okay.
He, about 12% of every episode he has is him saying, now I've done the research on this and I'm not making any advisement about whether someone should take on this treatment or not, blah, 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 long disclaimer, then talk about the topic. And it happens over and over again. Like at some point, we know, Huberman, you're not advising anyone on what to do with their health. And you're not making any statistical claims. You're having a conversation with another guest who's an expert on X, Y, or Z. At some point, it's just laborious. I already know. So does everyone listening to Huberman. We all know. I don't know who it's for. And if you got, like, if you're gonna hate my story about my first class flight, like if you need to hear someone say, I know I'm lucky before you can hear their story, I think that's your issue, not the person telling the story's problem.
Well, no, you want the person to be aware of their place in the world telling this big complaining story. When those people themselves have bigger issues, bigger fish to fry, and they're hearing a first class story, and they can laugh at it if the person is like, look, I'm not actually saying this is not, and I'm not saying you need to like go deep dive into how privileged you are and how unimportant the story is, but I think just giving a tiny disclaimer, my life's ridiculous.
I think it's
but
pandering because the person's afraid they're going to be disliked because their story involves either some
that
financial
they might be
barrier.
disliked because not being self-aware is something to not like.
Yeah, and if Letterman tells a story about going to Hawaii and I'm pissed, like, I wish I could go to Hawaii. Why don't I have enough money? Like, oh, poor you. You got food poisoning in Hawaii? It was a story about food poisoning. You made it about Hawaiian money.
Well, now we're getting so into the weeds about what the story is.
Well, no one's just telling a story of like, oh my God, I can tell you this story. I
you're
flew
saying-
first class and
yeah.
stayed at a nice hotel.
Well, you said fly first class. Anytime you're establishing that you flew first class, if the story is about that, then it is going to trigger something in people who've never flown first class. It's just the way
You know
it goes.
what it is? It's everyone's individual thing. I would feel placated and pandered to. If Letterman's telling me a story about flying somewhere, I know he flies in first class. He's rich. Why wouldn't he be? It would make zero sense. I'd be more curious why he's in coach to prove a point. So if he's taking the time to apologize to me that he's in first class, I'm like, bro, I'm not that dumb. I fucking know what your life's like. I don't know why you got to apologize for your life to me. I would feel pandered to. So I don't intend to pander to anyone, you know, personally.
Yeah.
And I think for me to say to people, before I say this, I want everyone to know I'm against rape. If I was listening, I'd be like, well, no, that was the exact example that just happened.
I'm just saying, if we say anything is allowed, I think it's okay to have some disclaimers there because not everything is allowed, especially in sex. It's a fraught topic for things that are not allowed, actually.
Right.
And I don't think it's pandering. I don't think maybe to men, I don't know, maybe to you, but I don't think any woman is going to hear a little aside about assuming everything's consensual.
Yeah.
No one's going to feel pandered to if they hear that sentence. They're going to feel safe.
Yeah.
Maybe not
probably
everyone.
just a difference of like what I want to listen to and what you want to listen to. It really could probably boil down to that. I don't need Letterman to tell me he's against rape. I know he is. I do. I don't need anyone that I'm listening to that I've judged to be someone that I'm interested in. I've already determined they're not fucking cavemen from the 80s who think it's okay to rape or, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't even be listening.
Yeah.
You know, I would already weeded them out. There are certain people that probably need to say that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. All right.
Can never rule out a dance. Just when you think,
4:30.
oh my God, 4:20. You're 10 minutes late on smoking your
Marijuana.
Marijuana hour. I love you.
Love you.